All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Market Close. We got some exciting stuff to talk about, folks, today. We do have Technical Tuesday. In about 35 minutes, we will have Jason on the show and go through all of the technicals. Why are you guys saying I'm late in the chat? It is literally 3:45. I am on time. I'm not late. Like 7 of you are saying I'm late. I am on time. I'm here. I'm alive. We're all live. Well, we're all alive, and I am live while we're all live. And you guys are trying to short AK Media, which is ridiculous because I'm on time. I'm excited to talk about what's going on. So the main headline that we've got currently right now, and I might have Farzad joining. Yeah, Farzad just texted me. He will be on in a second, and it'll be really good to get his take on what's going on. Folks, Tesla's up 5%. And the reason that Tesla's up 5% is not only because of the positive comments that Trump had with Elon yesterday when he was asked about Elon and their relationship. The other reason why Tesla's up 5% right now, 325 on Tesla. Again, the stock fell to 275 last Thursday when Elon was tweeting, is because we officially have Robotaxis out in the wild. The video you are looking at right now is a video in Austin, and those are 2 Robotaxis that do not have a driver in them. They are the first unsupervised Teslas we have ever seen without a driver. As you can see right there, if I pause it, you can see the Robotaxi logo, or what could be the Robotaxi logo right in there. I'll get another picture to show you guys a close-up. But that is the Robotaxi. That video came out about 2 hours ago. We also have some China updates we'll talk about. But the combination of the China updates along with maybe CPI got leaked. We got CPI tomorrow. Markets are pumping a little bit. It tends to get leaked usually the day before. But that plus this video plus China updates, you got Tesla up 5%. You got Tesla up 5%. So, folks, we are looking at the future. Yesterday, Apple showed off liquid glass screens for our icons to look like this, as you're looking at right now. And today, Tesla showed off the first ever neural net that's using only vision, not LiDAR, inside of Austin, Texas right now with the Robotaxi. Now, that does not mean there's going to be hundreds of thousands of them tomorrow. That doesn't mean that they're going to be raking in millions and millions of dollars, or the cost per mile is going to go to $1 anytime soon. But that does mean the moment that so many of you have been waiting for, so many OG Tesla shareholders have been waiting for, basically for a decade now, ever since 2016, so around about a decade. That moment's here. And I don't think we can underscore the significance of this moment. Now, I don't know if Robotaxi is like officially launching on February 12th, as it was set to be, but the fact that this video came out, you could argue that, you know, the way this video got leaked, maybe there's a world where Tesla wanted the video to get out there, and that now there is a shot that Robotaxi will actually come out pretty soon. The Tesla official account was asked what date Robotaxis will come out, and they posted a picture of dates. So no, no official confirmation on it yet, but very, very excited to see this happening, and it's obviously very good for Tesla. And look, you know, Q2 is not going to be good. Q1 was not good. The Elon Trump stuff, although that stuff's probably dying down and no one's going to care about it in a week, that was definitely not good for the stock last week. Regardless, market doesn't care. And based on some of the macro updates, based on the fact that S&P is trying to get to all-time highs, we are above 6,000 on the S&P. We are at the highest level on the S&P, 601 right here, 602, since February 12th, 2025. So it has been about 4 months since we got to these levels. You put all that together, it's just really hard to say that Tesla has to come down, even if the earnings are not that good, because the momentum around taxis and maybe anything around Optimus that the street can hang their hat on this year, it's what's giving Tesla the momentum. And that's what's pretty exciting right here for Tesla. 325 on the day. Robinhood 72.23. That's been relatively flat on the day. Even NVIDIA getting a little bit of a pump towards the end of the day. 143.62 pound share. 132.95. That's up about 0.5%. SOFI right here. 14.42. Grab. Rough day for Grab. I did buy the dip. Bought 100 shares. Bought 10 more contracts. Actually bought 15 more contracts for that $7 call for December 2027. That one down about 6% on that convertible note raise. Google, we got some updates on this. This was at 181. Now it's down to 178. And there's a reason why. We'll talk about it in a second. Amazon right here, 217. And then Meta, 700 on the day, which is not too bad. Not too bad at all for the broader market. Navitas as well. Great day for Navitas. Look at that. Up 10%, $8 on the day. CoreWeave as well. I haven't looked at this one. This one is down about 4%. That was up 4% in the morning. And then Nebius was below 50. This stock, 52. That one relatively recovered. HIMS is down because of some GLP stuff. I did not buy the HIMS dip today. Let me know if you bought the HIMS dip. I think it got to like 53 at one point, 53, 54. That one is still down about 3% currently right now. And VG, this was 17 in the morning. VG is 16.98, 8% up. Looks like we might get that close. Definitely above that $16 level. All right, folks, let's bring on a contributor to the channel, someone who understands Tesla very intimately. He worked at Tesla previously. He's been dedicating the past 5 years to analyzing Tesla on the interwebs. Ladies and gentlemen, who better than to analyze robotaxis on the first official video we have of them launching than Mr. Farzad.
What's going on today?
What's up, man? How are you?
Is anything big happening today?
Well, we just
Has something happened?
I see you're in Austin literally hunting to find this robotaxi, which is hilarious.
I'm a pretend journalist. I'm a pretend. Yeah, I just did a live stream from downtown, and I was trying to see if I could find the robotaxi driving around. And after 30 minutes, even in the shade, I'm like, it's too hot. It's too hot. It's just like I think they're only doing one car right now, so the chances of running into that one car is very unlikely. And my work area right now, out of yeah, there it is. That's my you like my thumbnail?
Dude, you spent 38 minutes in the Austin heat to try to find this thing. That's respect.
I basically need like a Medal of Freedom for that. Honestly, the weather's pretty good today. It's like it's in the 80s, so it's not bad at all. But I mean, this is a huge deal. I mean, like you follow Tesla close enough to know like this has been part of the thesis for a really, really long time. Of course, this is the first car, so we shouldn't be jumping the gun and saying, okay, everything's solved, it's done, it's over, speechless, which I like, that's the whole thumbnail thing. But I do think that I mean, this is a moment, I think, for a lot of people that may have been doubting Tesla's approach. This could be like the first signal that says, hey guys, like, remember that whole thing you were saying this whole time, that this wasn't going to happen because they're not doing LiDAR? Well, either Tesla and Elon have lost their mind and the ketamine has taken hold, right? This is sort of like the approach they would take, or what they've been working on for the last 8 years, which they've doubled down on multiple times for the last 8 years, and they've sunk billions of dollars of capex into that same exact approach. Perhaps they know what they're doing. And so think about this, right? This is where this story starts getting crazy. What Tesla's competition, what they deserve, Waymo, Zoox, and everyone else, they deserve an unbelievable amount of credit for being at the cutting edge, at the forefront of actually having self-driving cars on the road. These teams are incredible. Like what we saw in LA the last couple of days for the Waymos getting torched, like I literally felt so bad for that entire team, because can you imagine how much work they've put in to try and actually solve for self-driving, and they see their freaking assets going up in flames? Like that's gotta be the worst feeling of all time, right? So they deserve a lot of credit for being at the forefront and developing that technology. What all these companies lack, though, is scale. What they've done up to this point is they've basically brute force solved self-driving, and even with the brute solution with self-driving, if you look at the data that came out of, what was it, SF, I believe? So in the region of SF where you have Uber, Lyft, and Waymo overtook Lyft already. And they only have 1,500 cars on the road, you guys, okay? So their approach works, but they don't have the scale. So if you just look at that video that Elon retweeted from Sawyer, and it's been all over X, that car that's doing self-driving cars right now, that black car right out, that car, guys, that car you can buy right now for like 38 grand. And that car is doing self-driving. This is the part of the story that I think people are going to start realizing as the network scales, and they very quickly go from one car in the heart of Austin to hundreds of thousands of cars globally over the next couple years. That switch, I think, is going to flip for some folks that are doubting the story, that says, okay, what Tesla has lacked from a first mover advantage, they're going to more than make up on the tail end with scale, because once Tesla reaches the ability to have self-driving truly, they just flip a switch and their entire fleet has it. Okay? That's the story. That's the story.
I did the Boston drive, and we talked on the phone after that drive, and I told you how incredible of an experience it was. I thought I would have 3 or 4 interventions. You said I would have 0, 10 hours. I had 0.
1 to 2. 1 to 2. I said 1 to 2.
You said 1 to 2.
And we were both wrong.
It was unbelievable, the experience. But that happened, and then what was really interesting about it is not only was there 0 interventions, but I also found out a day later when I was doing my podcast with Tanner and Roy that Waymo, I didn't know this, Waymo only has 2,000 cars out there. And this was a big deal for me because I was like, okay, so I just had a 10-hour drive that a Waymo can't do. And now I know that Tesla has 7 million vehicles where even if they have 5% of them decide to enter into that robotaxi network that you can buy today,
Correct.
That's hundreds of thousands of cars on the road.
And they're making 2 million per year. Yeah. Without a truly affordable model that's going to double or triple their existing capacity. And that solution is vision-based. It's not mapping. It's not reliant on mapping, which means that that same vehicle is fungible. You can take it from downtown Austin and drop it in downtown Paris, and that same exact car will do that drive without a driver. Okay? So literally think about it. If you are a person who's trying to get into the robotaxi game, and Tesla is out there manufacturing these things at $30,000 to $40,000 per unit, potentially even less with the Cybercab and their cheaper vehicles, okay? And then you all of a sudden have places like Texas or Arizona or Florida being very lenient with their regulation, and they're saying, okay, as long we trust you, automaker. It's just up to you how far you want to take it. And knowing Elon's psychotic ass, he's going to be like as fast as possible tomorrow, okay? Mm-hmm. If they are actually successful, that should generate a pretty significant asset increase on Teslas that have the hardware to be able to do that, right? Because in your head, you're like, okay, the unit economics of operating a self-driving car in those regions, which I'm going to assume Tesla's going to insure because they have all the data already, and they already offer Tesla insurance in a lot of these places, okay? They know the data inside and out when it comes to liabilities and chances of injury and death. Like, they've done all the actuarial math already. They have all that data, okay? That individual can be like, okay, I'm just gonna start buying Teslas because I see where this is going, right? Because there's going to be a forcing function for companies to operate fleets out of these regions as long as the regulations there and Tesla is willing to have those cars out there. So then all of a sudden, all these people that have Teslas on their hands, like yourself as an example, your car might appreciate in value. I'm not saying it's going to for sure, but at the very least, the cost of access for transportation is going to become much lower because of how prevalent these cars are going to be. And when you yank the largest percentage of the per mile cost, which is the driver, and you actually have the technology to go anywhere and self-drive, what is that going to do to everybody else who can't do that, right? So like people that don't have the self-driving vision capability, people that aren't willing to license Tesla's FSD, manufacturers that can't even build more than 50 or 100,000 cars per year, okay? Like, all right, what happens? It feels like game over outside of regions like China, right? Where the cost of driving, you can pay somebody, it's like 10 cents a mile down there, 15 cents a mile down there, right? So in certain regions, you're not going to have that sort of, the math is going to be different, but like Europe, the Americas, parts of South America, potentially parts of Africa, like at that point, now you are in those like second, third, sort of like tiered economic countries, it becomes a question of does the technology work, right? It's less a question of am I cost competitive? Does the technology work? Because if the technology works, what's the benefit of having a self-driving car? It's going to be safer. It's going to be private. It's going to be comfortable. And hey, maybe you are somebody in those regions that can afford really nice things. You're going to be able to buy yourself a chauffeuring car. Chauffeur.
And you come on my stream and you can't pronounce stuff. This is what my stream does.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm excited. Can you tell?
All right, Farzad, we have 30 seconds to the market close. Stick with me for like 10 minutes after, because I do want to push back and get some deep questions from the chat about regulations, all that stuff. So
yeah.
Thoughts. Farzad, this is the first time you're doing this with me. We got 20 seconds. Brother, we are going to ring the bell.
Yes.
The market close. And
the stock market.
What a day for Tessie in the stock market. The Robotaxi is officially here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. June 10th, 4 p.m. from Farzad and I. The stock market is now closed.
Yes. I love that cowbell.
You need to get bricked up with me in the background. You know what I'm saying?
I do, for real. Seriously. Yeah, I'm at Capital Factory right now. It's like this shared workspace down here, and right in the heart of downtown Austin, off of 7th, and it's an awesome place to be.
Yeah. I love it. NVIDIA up 1% on the day. Robinhood down about 1%. Grab down 6%. Apple up about 0.5%. Navitas up 10%. Tessie up 5.6%. Does get the 326 close, folks, on Tesla. You got Google right here, 178. We'll talk about some of the headlines that happened with Google towards the end of the day. And then you got Bitcoin right here at 109. S&P 500 looks like it closed at the highest level since February 2025. Yup, 6,038 on the S&P. Okay, so some questions on Tesla. By the way, guys, the reason I gave him shit about not pronouncing is not because he can't pronounce, it's because the aura of my channel is that anyone who joins messes up everything. Exactly, rubbing off on Farzad. So,
it's the Amit curse. Okay, in the chat, should Amit come out with AK Media merch? Yes or no? Okay, I'm about to just pull it up for you, Amit. I'm about to just make you a website. And I'm just going to run the operation for you and just give you 100% of the profits, just because I feel like AK Media merch has to exist. Okay, what do you think, chat? Yes or no?
Why are you guys saying bricked up is weird? It's just bricks in the background. That's what bricked up means. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
AK Media merch.
That's all. We got to get merch with bricked up on the shirt.
Okay, dude, that'd be sick.
So let's get into some deeper questions here for about 20 minutes. Again, the scale Tesla has over like a Waymo, but the regulation, like realistically, Farzad, how far are we away from actually seeing bottom line profits from the Robotaxi?
Probably a couple of years away, realistically.
Okay, so, the follow up here is why should the stock be at 326 then?
Why should Tesla be at $1 trillion today?
Yeah, exactly. That's the question.
Right, but that's my rebuttal. Why should Tesla be at $1 trillion today? I think what it comes down to is like Tesla's entire thesis from the very beginning, ever since it came on the stock market, and ever since it turned a profit in 2012, 2013, Q1 2013, I think it was the first time they had a profit. From that point forward, it seemed like the market was willing to price in future cash flows based on Tesla's advantage. Okay. So how do you calculate future cash flows with Tesla specifically? Is the progress they have on their technology, which is significantly ahead of everyone else's, and how quickly they're able to scale up that business. Okay. Tesla's sort of benefit from the very beginning is that they've had this leader that is willing to create different verticals with the underlying technology and foundation they've built with the company, with batteries and artificial intelligence. Okay, they started with the car. The car and the battery storage was the vessel to get that supply chain ramped up for batteries and artificial intelligence. Okay, right. The car was sort of the hybrid of both. And now the ongoing thesis that has been present since Tesla decided to bring self-driving in-house after they ditched Mobileye and they said, screw it, we're doing it ourselves. And they started with Navigate and Autopilot. Then they came out with FSD, et cetera, et cetera. Ever since that moment, Tesla has been sort of this hybrid car energy AI play. But as the years go on, the valuation is going to be based on artificial intelligence. I mean, we see it. It's obvious. Like, if they're successful, if that car can do paid rides in Austin and everywhere else in the country and everywhere else globally, let's say virtually 80% of the population that can afford to ride a robotaxi has access to a robotaxi, it's super easy to just do the math, right?
So your argument here is the market is pulling forward the growth multiple.
100%.
Because Tesla's not growing right now. But the reason people are excited about Tesla over an Apple or Microsoft is because you think the potential, the sheer potential of the S-curve from we didn't even talk about Optimus, but from a robotaxi itself, that's being priced in today, essentially.
And I don't know how else to justify that than looking at the last few months, what has happened with the rhetoric around. I mean, I saw your post from today. How much worse can the optics look for Tesla? Truly. Literally, Elon Musk, the CEO of the company, left the government with a black eye. We're not even going to talk about how he got it, but he left. The optics of that are already crazy. And then 2 days later, the bro's just losing it on X. And I had to write him an open letter to say, I admire you, bro, but positivity, let's go. Positivity, let's go. And he to his credit, he read that and he sort of acknowledged it. We'll see if he actually, if he takes it down the path. But the story has been completely shat on, excuse my French, for the last few months, right? And the stock is fine. And the stock really hasn't done anything. Okay? So I don't know how else to justify than to say the market is thinking about the story like I am, like retail is. The Wall Street and retail have come together and they're both okay, robotaxi seems like a thing that's going to happen. And if robotaxi works, then Tesla all of a sudden has the credence, the sort of mojo to say the bot's going to work too. And the bot is a 10x sort of market than driving, logistics, right? Driving, I think transportation is like a $3-4 trillion industry globally. Labor is like 40 trillion. Okay.
Let me
And
ask
that's
you
the
about
thesis.
the spat with Trump and the Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
What is your opinion, given you know Elon so well, you've covered him? Why do you think that happened?
I think he is pissed off at Jared Isaacman getting snubbed because that guy seemed like by far the best possible candidate for that position. And I think the administration said, Elon's guy, he's leaving. We can't give him too much leverage. Let's pick somebody else. So that definitely rubbed in the wrong way. I think his Doge efforts have been brutal. Some of it were his missteps. He may have misexecuted on messaging and sort of overpromising. What a shocker, right? Elon tends to overpromise and underdeliver. But his intentions, I found, are always pure, and he really does believe the existential nature behind it, and I do too. And so when this big beautiful bill is being sold as this big beautiful bill, but it ends up essentially undermining the effort that Elon went through with Doge, right? And then literally getting a black eye from it and, brand damage, et cetera, et cetera. And then he sees all that work being undone by the swamp. I mean, how can you, like, Elon's criticism in this case is that he was not able to control his emotions, right? I don't blame him to feel the way he's feeling, but Elon's weakness, ever since really we followed him as a CEO of the company, he wears his emotions on his sleeve, both positively and negatively. And I think this is why he can sort of muster the type of support he has, is because I think a lot of people view him as a very transparent person when it comes to how he really feels about the right things to do, right? Yeah. The existential nature of the problems. It's just now he's faced this unescapable vortex of inefficiency and shadiness in the U.S. government, and it won. The swamp won against Elon, and so he's pissed. Can you blame him? I mean,
do you think the Trump Elon thing dies out? I mean, has it already died out in your opinion?
It has already died out, bro. The All In just went, dude. Where's the All In podcast?
That's a good question.
Where's the All In podcast? Okay, like, isn't that the best signal that says these guys are just they're just gonna let it blow over? They're like, okay, let's just pretend it never existed. Okay, and even Trump's rhetoric from like lately, he's been so amicable, so graceful. These are not words that are associated with Trump ever. What's Trump? He's a bulldog. He likes to fight dirty. He likes to get in the mud. He likes to talk shit. And when it comes to Elon, literally said the reason why the Epstein files didn't come out is because Trump is in them globally. The entire planet, from the guy that gave Trump $300 million, essentially said, yo, you are, like you say, like you've done some crazy stuff. And the guy's like, I really wish Elon the best. If he wants to call me, I'd be up for a discussion. I really like Starlink. Yeah, we're going to move the Teslas around. Huh? You're either massively implicated or you're acting like the bigger person here. Correct. Because you know that this was an emotional outburst, and I mean, this works really well for Trump, because now people that may have seen him as a shoot from the hip person, they're like, oh, okay, no, actually he's very measured. There's a lot of strategy here. He's a very polished media guy, and Elon can get very emotional when he's dramatically under stress, and when he feels like he's put in a ton of effort and he gets undermined, he's going to act a certain way. But that's his weakness, is that he can't rein that in. But with that comes the other psycho thing, which is the Model Y is driving itself. The best-selling car in the world is driving itself in Austin right now.
People that are extraordinary are going to have some parts of their personality that cause 100%. Them to lash out, and then they're also going to build Neuralink, SpaceX, and Tesla. So that does make sense. Insurance. How do you think Tesla navigates robotaxi with insurance?
Yeah, I think they're going to take that on. I think in most regions, at least in the U.S., so Tesla's already laid out the groundwork for Tesla insurance. It's available in a few states. I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla launches Robotaxi. Is it available in California, you guys? Can somebody in the chat tell me if Tesla insurance is available in California? It's definitely available in Texas, and so it makes sense. So Texas is sort of this holy grail of friendly regulations around autonomous vehicles. So there's no city or county specific regulations. It's statewide, and the localities can't impose. It is available. Okay, thank you. So that's another one that's going to come live here soon. So the cities and localities cannot impose self-driving regulation on the company. The state regulates the autonomous vehicle technology. So it's up to the manufacturer to decide how far they want to go. Right. So Waymo's geofence area is not dictated by the state; is dictated by Waymo. So from an insurance perspective, for Tesla, they are likely. So the signal is if they're launching in states where they also have insurance, right? By default, that's going to mean they're going to insure their own vehicles. They've collected all this data around the fleet where they have insurance already, and in a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different cases, they're much cheaper than other competitors, especially if you use FSD a lot, right? And so if I were Tesla, I just insure it myself. I mean, how could you not? Like, why would you want to sort of like bring on this additional layer of cost for with a company potentially that doesn't truly understand the cost benefit analysis or like the actual math behind having a self-driving vehicle? Because you know a lot of these insurance companies are probably going to be very, very conservative at first because they don't truly understand the technology, so they're likely going to massively overcharge on the technology in the case of like injury, death, something goes wrong, some sort of damage to the vehicle because of the self-driving operation. So your usual insurance companies that would insure this are going to go way above, whereas Tesla's like, we know the data, we have it all, we understand it fully, we will insure it. Because what does that do long term? As self-driving vehicles become safer, right? 2 times, 3 times, 10x, 20x safer than a human, that money that you would have paid another insurance company that wouldn't have realized that type of performance from the technology as quickly as you want them to, all of a sudden you can use that for pricing power. So you're not overpaying for insurance, because that becomes your second biggest that when you don't have a driver, that automatically becomes your biggest part of the cost structure for the vehicle. Right. Why would you give that to somebody else to manage for you when you're trying to scale this in the hundreds of thousands of units per year? Right. So I think long term Tesla's going to bring insurance in-house. They're already doing it in all the locations that they can. And then over time they'll have enough data that says like look at how safe this is. Like, why wouldn't you insure this? It's like basically like the chance of injury or death is like basically non-existent, especially in relation to a vehicle that's like myself. Like, I'm paying $150 a month on my Cybertruck, right? The Cybercab's probably going to be like $20, right? Because the chance of death and injury is basically not going to exist because of how safe they are,
Tesla 327 after hours. What do you think about regulations? Like, because Waymo, Tesla, all these guys are gonna have the same regulations to an extent.
Yes.
Right? So when is that unleashed for the entire industry, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, so Secretary Duffy, the new Secretary of Transportation for the United States, just did a tour of the Tesla Giga Texas here in Austin, sort of talking about how important it is to have a national federal framework for autonomous vehicles. That shouldn't be a surprise to hear, since Elon was associated with the Trump administration. And that's probably one of those big wins that Elon's going to get from siding with Trump, is that you're going to have a Secretary of Transportation that's going to be willing to take on a federal framework for autonomous vehicles. Now, Tesla wins, Waymo wins, Zoox wins. All autonomous vehicle players are going to win from this regulation. So the question becomes, who can make the most cars that can drive in as many places as possible? Right. And there's only one player that has the scale. And so in any regulatory wins, Tesla's going to have an outsized win because of how many cars they build and how fungible those cars are and how many different areas you can operate them because of the technology that they use.
So do you think that's a year out, 2 years out? How are you kind of thinking universally we get these regulations? Because we need that for the Robotaxi thing to be official, right?
Well, we need that for the earnings to come to fruition in the way that investors expect.
Right.
For sure. I do think that there's a level of recognition that's going to happen anyway if there are, like, let's say Tesla launches in states that are already friendly. So Florida, Texas, California, Arizona, Nevada, as an example, right? Right. Michigan's another one, by the way. Michigan's like the sixth one that's like random, but they have very friendly autonomous vehicle regulations. In those 6 markets, you can prove out the thesis very quickly with Tesla, right? That's very nice. He's talking about you, Amit, by the way.
Oh, he's talking about you.
These 6 states, okay, are very friendly in autonomous vehicle regulations, and outside of California, there's sort of statewide regulations. So in those states, Tesla can prove out the thesis and say, okay, we're just going to dump Teslas everywhere. We're going to undercut Uber by 20-30%, okay? And then you that same graph we saw with the Waymo overtaking Lyft, and then in theory, if Tesla's approach, if the thesis plays out, we'll see the same exact thing happen with Tesla, and it'll become a a majority of the rideshare miles in those regions very quickly. And if we see that happening in those regions, again, it's just an extrapolation. It's like okay, why wouldn't a locality approve self-driving regulations when the cost of transportation goes down when you do that? It is an unlock for the economy. People can go to work cheaper. You can move goods from place to place cheaper. Okay. Eventually, when they make it to semi vehicles, the cost of running freight from state to state gets cheaper. It might get as cheap as a train, and it'll get you there much quicker than a train would. Okay. These are economic unlocks. This is how you open up the economy. This is how you create value. This is how you make this country a better place for people to live in, and safety goes up. Then which means deaths come down. And if deaths comes down, how's that not a wonderful justification for having that technology? So there will be a forcing function for these places to adopt the technology. It could take 2 years, it could take 5 years, okay? But if it works in those states that are already friendly, okay, my assumption, and if the market doesn't do this, then it's whatever, it's the market. I'm not going to force them to do it because it's literally impossible. I'm assuming the market's going to see that math and be like, okay, Tesla is majority rideshare miles by a lot in the regions that they can operate. Why wouldn't that be the same in every other place that they go live in?
Right.
And it's just a math exercise, right? And then on top of that, sorry, and I'm rambling a lot on this, but the per unit manufacturing of these cars with the cybercaps especially, it's going to be sub 30,000, okay? One of the things that we have to think through is like, this is not just rideshare miles. This is like, yo, I'm just going to own a car that I don't have to drive.
Yeah.
What's the market for that? Okay. Because they're not that expensive. It's a Model Y, the monthly payment for a Model Y, all in with gas and insurance and your payment, et cetera, is the same or less than a RAV4. And it can drive itself. Who wouldn't want that car?
Do you think this is going to be a 80-20 split between Tesla and all the competitors, or 50-50, or like, does it have to be 90-10? How do you think this plays out in the next 4 or 5 years?
I think it depends on the region. I think they're going to have a tougher time getting a, say, 50 plus market share in places like China. Again, because the labor cost to drive in China is very, very low because we're just dealing with different labor rates, right? And the competition in China is much better. I still feel like Tesla has a significant advantage from a self-driving perspective, but now like it's not like you're not fighting against premium driver labor rates. You're fighting against people who are willing to drive, again, like 10 cents a mile or whatever it is. So I think in places where it's expensive, more expensive to drive relative to other places, so like truly developed nations like Europe and America, I think Tesla's gonna have, dude, like I might sound like a maniac, but like 90% plus market share when it comes to like miles driven, like by rideshare over time as the regulations open and they flood the market with these cars, right? Because the economic forcing function is too big to ignore. Again, because of that per unit cost, the safety, they own the insurance stack, they own the entire self-driving stack, they own the app. They own the manufacturing. They control every bit of cost that goes into offering the service. Uber can't do that.
I was just gonna get into that. Your boy Gary Black sold everything at 360, and dumped it into Uber. 2 questions. A, was it weird for him as an institutional money manager to sell before the biggest event in Tesla's history, Robotaxi? And B, is shifting that money to Uber, is that going to be a better way to allocate capital over the next 5 years, in your opinion?
Well, I'm not going to get into Gary's head. I really respect Gary. Gary is my boy. He really is my boy. That poor guy gets beat up and he doesn't shy from speaking his mind. And I really respect that. I do consider him a friend. I really do. But I think he is so unbelievably wrong about the Uber story that I think it's going to come back and bite him in the ass. I don't understand how Uber can be competitive with Tesla. I just don't understand it. What is Uber's entire like thing? Okay, the reason why they exist is because they pair a human driver with a human rider. Okay, what happens when you no longer have a human driver? All of a sudden, they become a network where they pair self-driving vehicles with a human rider. But think about that for a second. The platform in a lot of regions, those human drivers are going to have to compete with a self-driving vehicle if they were on Uber's platform. Okay,
right.
And Uber has an incentive to keep those drivers on the platform, because if they stop doing rides because they can't be cost competitive with the self-driving vehicle, the number of units they have on the road plummets. And so the availability of the service plummets. And so for Uber and those other manufacturers to put the cars on the Uber platform, they're nowhere near the scale of Tesla to be able to compete with the driverless miles they're going to be able to offer, because they're only going to have a handful of self-driving cars relative to what Tesla's going to be able to offer. So for Uber to be able to have the wait times as low as they have it now, they have to artificially boost the prices for the self-driving vehicles so that their drivers don't leave the platform, because otherwise they won't be able to make a living. In a world where
what
Tesla,
if Uber has massive amounts of self-driving cars? What if they
from
have
who?
From the Waymos, the Zooks, maybe some Teslas? Do you think that could?
They're not going to have Teslas.
Why?
Why would Tesla give them? Why would Tesla give their cars to Uber?
So
What is the economic forcing function for Tesla to do that?
You think there's going to be zero chance that
Zero.
So then Uber's going to have to rely on any other self-driving car besides the Tesla to
Correct.
fill the supply side of their network, essentially.
Correct. And every other and Tesla makes more self-driving vehicles per year than everyone else combined times 500.
What if Uber just buys the Teslas though, and they
will have to operate on the Tesla network? That it is literally set in stone. It's like written on the thing. Okay, and Elon has been very public about this. There will be, if you want to operate the Tesla as a robotaxi, it has to be done on the Tesla network. Okay, what like truly think about it. Like, why would you give up that pricing power to Uber? It makes no sense. You have to give 15% of the per mile cost to Uber for them to even have the app. Tesla, dude, like, look at this. Okay, what is this thing right here? Look, they have an app. Okay,
Weirdo. That's the name of your
Weirdo. That's the name of my because it's weird. Look at it, right? Weirdo. It's just chilling, okay? They already have an app. And that's Uber. Uber, like, I get it. It's fleet management, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? It's an app. It's an app.
It's an app with 170 million people using it.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Do you remember? Wow. MySpace had an unbeatable moat. They had so many people on there. Wow. Look at how, okay, think about this for a second. Elon Musk on X. Once this thing goes live in Austin, okay? Check out this post from Elon Musk, at Elon Musk, posted 5 seconds ago. Happy to announce Tesla Robotaxi is now live in Austin, Texas. Hail one today for 20% less than Uber. Download the Tesla app today.
Yes, 250 million followers.
Okay.
Yeah.
How hard and then they are one, and then maybe they should put the app link right there, right? They should put the app link right there. Yeah, Grok will right there. Exactly. Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, dude, it's like, it makes no sense in a world where the driver is yanked out of the cost structure of the car, how Uber is going to be competitive. It makes no sense to me. People are like, well, there's the cleaning, there's the charging, there's all these things. Okay, wow, these are like impossible to solve for solutions. Of course they're not. You can come up with all kinds of solutions for that. You can put out bounties on the app. Hey, this Robotaxi is chilling on the supercharger in the stall. If you go plug it in right now, we'll give you $5. Hey, you want to clean this?
You don't think Uber is dead. You think their market share is going to
I think Uber's dead.
Okay, so you're going full on.
I think Uber's dead. I think Uber is a worthless company in a world of robotaxi, Tesla Robotaxi. Listen, this has nothing to do with the CEO, who I believe is Persian as well. Shout out. It has nothing to do with the staff. Okay, Uber is an unbelievable value add company right now in our present day. But in a world where you have a company that can manufacture self-driving vehicles at will in the millions of units per year, how do you compete with that? By default, for Uber to compete with Tesla, they would have to manufacture humans at will. They would have to manufacture drivers at will. They literally can't. How do they manufacture drivers? They increase the price so that there's an incentive for the driver to go on the network.
Right.
Tesla just shits one out of the factory.
I mean, look, you're going to have Uber Bulls give a counterpoint, but from a macro perspective, what you're saying is not like complicated to understand. One, gets the cost per mile down. One has a fleet of self-driving vehicles. One has a better experience theoretically because you don't have to talk to a driver who wants to know about your day. You can just sit in the back and chill.
Yeah.
And then one has better unit economics because they're more of a tech company.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, it makes no sense to me. The Uber value proposition in the world of a Tesla robotaxi at scale makes zero sense to me. And again, 1.7 million cars per year and no tipping. Dude, no tipping, privacy, comfort, consistent UI, consistent comfort. These Teslas, like when you sit in the Tesla, it's going to be customized to your preferences, right? You'll sit in, the AC will be set exactly where you want it. The music that you want playing will be playing. Whatever show you want to watch on the TV will be there, okay? You know you're going to get a comfortable car. You know it's going to be available because the idling costs of these things is going to be next to nothing. It's just going to be electricity costs to keep this thing going. You don't have to pay somebody to be just waiting around for you. And Uber doesn't have to like create surge pricing for drivers to be available for events that, like, let's say there's a lot of demand for drivers or whatever. Tesla just has to have enough cars available in a region for them to just go do that. And in the times where they don't have that, like the other thing that people talk about is like, okay, you have this peak trough issue with rideshare, right? Where most rides happen Friday nights and Saturday nights. What's another use case that can be used for self-driving vehicles? Food delivery, freight delivery, Amazon deliveries, okay? And you pair that with the human or robot, what happens? The human or dude, how hard is it going to be? We saw the human or robot dancing around like a freaking maniac, okay? How many years is Tesla away from just teaching the human or robot how to sit down in the car and how to go pick up stuff from the trunk and set it down somewhere? How hard is that really? And the driving is going to be done by the car.
Most of the time when people order Uber
It's over. It's game over.
And again, when people order Uber Eats and they have to go outside, it's not that complicated to just walk down your porch and then just open the trunk or open the door of the car, right, while it's waiting for you, instead of someone literally putting it at your door. Like there's, especially if it's cheaper, right? There's a lot of different ways I think that can work out in a way that allows Tesla to have better unit economics. Okay, so we got 2 minutes left. Ultimately, your argument here is that Robotaxi is happening. Uber is not going to be able to compete in the new world. Waymo will compete, but they're not going to get market share. So my final question for Farzad is Q2. Bad Europe sales, Cybertruck, they're doing 0.
There's going to be dog.
Okay, so how do you, I mean, you're not really like a macro focus on the stock guy, but like, how do you think of the stock here at the 300? Like, is it risky to you, or you have such a long trajectory that even if Q2 is going to be dog shit, you don't care?
People should not, I mean, I think your audience is very smart when it comes to like the next 1 to 365 days. I think that's where you provide an unbelievable amount of value and your audience is super smart. You also provide a ton of value for really long-term stories like Tesla, NVIDIA, Robinhood, all these stories, Palantir, right?
I was about to say, don't forget the main one. Don't forget her.
Tesla, you mean? No, Palantir. But so I would encourage your audience to think about the Tesla story like the Palantir story. Palantir has, what is it, $1 billion of free cash flow per year, right? And they have, what's their valuation?
300.
Okay. I feel like I have an easier time justifying Tesla than I do Palantir.
It's like, it's so hard for us to I was looking at stock today. I was like, guys, this one looks kind of expensive. The whole chat was like, bro, you own Palantir. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, y'all motherfuckers in the chat talking shit about Tesla, talk shit about Palantir. What the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. I keep cursing. I'm sorry.
No,
sorry. I don't mean to.
So basically you're saying, look, the reason Palantir gets a multiple is because it's respected by the street, growing, etc. Tesla's not growing yet, but it will get that growth, and that's why that multiple is being pulled forward. Simple.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think it's this, in the same way that Palantir is being valued like that by the market, where I think they're just viewing the long-term potential as like undeniable. I think the Tesla story is very similar. It's just not a Tesla story. I think the Palantir story, in my opinion, has. I think the Palantir story is where Tesla was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And y'all need another 4 to 5 years for it to really start getting that valuation recognized and the next phase of the company recognized. Whereas I think Tesla is literally just about to start their next leg. And the last 4 years has been sort of this consolidation period for people that want to get out of the stock to get the previous profits, and the new people that are coming in that want to profit off of Robotaxi and bot. So that's how I view it. But I could be wrong. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I mean, obviously. So we'll see what happens.
I love it. Farzad's Twitter right there in the chat. Farzad, actual last question for you. All this
Yeah.
brand damage people talk about with Elon and all the Trump stuff, ultimately, I think your belief is Elon
Irrelevant.
is irrelevant, and you're going to move on.
Irrelevant long term for sure. So, Farzad's hitting the ketamine. I wish. I'm just naturally psychotic. You know, my wife loves it. Yo, everybody, like, subscribe. Okay, follow Amit on YouTube.
I'm supposed to be telling people to do that for
on
you.
X.
Okay?
No,
You
no,
don't
no.
do that for me.
Amit is the GOAT Finance channel on YouTube. This dude has been working his ass off like a maniac. This guy, naturally retarded.
Dude, my chat, I will say, my chat
I don't disagree.
I have the best chat on YouTube. I don't care
You
what
do.
I don't care.
You do. But freaking Amit, dude, I'm serious, man. I'm so fucking proud of you. You do such incredible work. I'm truly so impressed by your work ethic and just how knowledgeable you are. And I think you deserve the success, and you're just getting started. And I can't wait to see where you go. AK Media merch. Go check it out. Oh, wait, it's not live yet because this guy doesn't want to make merch. Hurry up. Let's go. You can do it.
Thank you, Farzad.
His
link will be his YouTube in the description. Thank you, Farzad. I'll see you next time. Thank you, brother.
Love you, man. Love you, everybody.
Later.
Bye.
That was nice on Robotaxi Day. Got some coverage from Farzad. So there we go. I'll put Farzad's Twitter again in the chat. Everyone definitely check him out. He is one of my favorite sources on Tesla. Obviously very passionate on Tesla. And, you know, he has strong opinions and he's able to defend those opinions as well. Now, real quick, before we get Jason on, very quick headlines right here. Give me 2 minutes. This was basically what I was going to talk about throughout the entire market close, and then we'll get into Technical Tuesday. This headline got Google stock to fall from 181 to 178. Google offers buyouts to employees in search and ads unit. I don't know why the street was upset about this. The street has been so annoyed that Google is like focused so much on search when they should be focused on AI. This headline, I don't have too many other details other than this headline, but to me, it implies Google is trying to move on from just focusing on search and more so trying to focus on generative AI. And so they're literally buying out some employees and saying, hey, we'll give you some money and get out. We're done. We don't need to have these many people focusing on search, or AI might be replacing some of these employees. So I think this is bullish. I think this means Google's focusing more on AI. The market should be interpreting that as a bullish spin on Google, but they're not really doing so in the same way. Earnings real quick. GameStop, they missed by 3% on revenue. They beat by 125% on EPS. They bought another 4,000 Bitcoin. So this is GameStop right here. This stock is down about 4% after hours. GitLab had a bit of a, I guess, not good earnings from a guidance perspective. GitLab right here down about 12%. In terms of the top and the bottom, they beat by 13% on EPS, 17 versus 15 cents, 214 versus 213 million. EPS is up 400% year over year. Revenue's up 30% year over year. Not sure why it's getting hit that bad outside of guidance. So we'll look deeper into GitLab and see what's going on there. And then we also had Dave & Buster's, which I forgot was a public company. Let me know if you've ever been to Dave & Buster's. Ticker symbol PLAY. That's up 3% after hours. They missed by 25% on EPS. They beat on revenue by 2,567,000 versus 565. And that's what we have going on after hours. Then finally, Mexico-U.S. trade deal. So that headline broke about 5 minutes ago. And Mexico and the U.S. look like we're closing in on a deal. This could also be the reason why Tesla was pumping a little bit right here after hours. We did get an update from Besant and Lutnick. They said, hey, China deal is going good, and we could have a third day of negotiations starting tomorrow. They didn't confirm we're having a third day, but they did say that there is a chance that we will be talking tomorrow, Wednesday, for 3 days in a row. And then this headline right here from Bloomberg, the United States and Mexico are closing in on a deal that would remove President Trump's 50% tariffs on steel imports up to a certain volume, which would be very good for inflation because we would reduce the overall tariff rate. And that obviously would be good for Jay Powell to think that maybe by September, at least, it is time to lower rates. There you go. Those are all the updates. We are going to get into some technicals. For those that are new to the channel, technical analysis is primarily looking at charts, not fundamentals, to predict stock price action. It's not for everybody. If you don't care about it, you're welcome to leave. If you do care about it, we're going to be locked in for the next 2-3 hours trying to go through all the technicals. And the person who will be helping me go through all the technicals on this channel has a very fancy intro, and it's time to roll the intro. What's up? You're muted.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday in the house.
Dude, everyone's excited. We're ready for some TA.
I appreciate y'all, all you guys. I even appreciate you guys that think that I show up on the market open, even though I don't. Maybe one day I will, but I usually do not.
Apparently, you guys thought he was on my future show, and Steve was calling for Tesla to 150, and they came in your stream and were like, "Hey, Steve, why did you say Tesla to 150?" Jason's like, "I'm not Steve. I don't."
No shot would I have called Tesla to 150. But
Well,
you
Tesla's
know,
not at 150, so
it's
makes
all
sense.
good. You know, if they came over to, for anybody that did come over to give me a hard time about Tesla going to 150, they probably would have banked, because we were in the middle of actually charting it out. And here we are, baby.
Dude, so let's get into it. We got to start off with Tesla. Everyone's
Really? Okay.
Everyone's excited about this one. I'm very curious. I know you bought a little bit in that 270 even by accident, but let's get into it. Give me your thoughts on Tesla.
Hopefully this is the right. I have so many screens, man. Is this the Tesla chart? Let me know.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So Tesla, I was actually just looking at it for the chat. I will start.
Someone called you Asian Steve.
You know, that's okay. Asian Steve, whatever. So Tesla, the reason I had 275, anyways, so Tesla, by the way, when Tesla is definitely one of the stocks that it's my most traded stock. It is by far and away my most profitable stock from a trading perspective. If you want to get really bearish on Tesla, for sure you can, but yeah, I'm not personally. The reason I had 275 anyways, that happened to be my my last kind of entry area. When the last time we had highlighted a trade on your channel, it was really coming off of this swing. So this is more like a very long, not very long, but from the last 480 high to this little double bottom down here at 200. That area was up to 350, potentially up into that 400 zone, but we didn't get there. So the trade that was highlighted was actually right off of this area, which happened to be about 270s into 350 right into here. And that worked out. And we were on Twitter. I was like, look, if it doesn't hold 350, exit stage left. But the tweet wars, I am now calling it the tweet wars. But
you're talking about Elon and Epstein, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, that happened below 350. So and we've talked about this on this trade on your channel. So hopefully anybody that was following along in terms of a trade, remember, trades are different than investments. Has nothing to do with that. They're not even relative. They're absolutely not compatible. So let's not confuse that. But 375, that happens to be that same exact area. And you can see just like a lot of confluence, right? Like even if I threw just a straight line across, it's just, when I say 375, I bought it. It was equity. It was not options. Let's just be very crystal clear on that. I did do options later on, but this area in general is a pretty clean, what we would consider like a back test. And so we know that this broader downtrend has been broken anyways. And for all intents and purposes, this could have just posed as a retest of that exact same area. So from a very basic perspective, you have stocks are running downside, resting sideways, then they're running, then they're resting, then they're running, and then this ends up being a retest to potentially come back up
right
here. So from a technical perspective, yeah, it was a sound area. In terms of this like slingshot,
yeah, this 320 pump or 330 pump, is this reasonable? Is this hype? Is this on the
it's totally reasonable. I will say, so we have to zoom in very close. And right now I'm using, I use a 3-minute chart when I'm day trading. But what we do is this moment right here, this happens to be about 320. And I'll just, I'm going to take this down for a second. I was just using this earlier, but this is the moment right here where the tweet wars began. 321.36. At 321.36, Tesla was doing its normal thing. It was already breaking down from a larger, it was already breaking down from this consolidation anyway. So for this to come down here, it was already coming down. So that shouldn't have been a surprise anyways. You could have been short into this regardless, and it is what it is, right? Like it was already coming down. That just kind of accelerated that momentum, but I mean, really accelerated it. What got really interesting, and I had this from, again, equity position, not options. It's not like I bought this thinking, oh, it's instantly gonna go up. Like, no, that's not what happened. But later, as this went on, yeah, we had this instant kind of gap up. And when you see, first of all, when you see something like this, these giant candles, like you can look at this and be like, okay, the market gets a little caught off sides in an area like this. And when you see this kind of situation from here to here, this is like this complete whoosh to the downside. Typically what happens is that the market creates an imbalance, right? And traders may call this a fair value gap. They may call it whatever, all kinds of different names, but essentially it's an imbalance of price action where it's just very much one-sided, where people are just kind of like panic selling. Maybe some people had stop losses set because possibly they saw the charts and Tesla was already teetering just a little bit, and all of a sudden people's stop loss orders are getting hit. Boom, 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 like machine gun rapid fire. Their stops are getting hit like boom. And this is what you get. This is the price action that you get. And intraday, people are just like, whoa, what's going on? So
that's what happened Thursday when we saw the 20% decline.
Bingo. That's what's happening Thursday. And it ends up being this knee-jerk reaction. Just like tariffs, though, when we have this tariff release, and immediately, I'm sure you got a lot of these questions. We get a lot of the comments. I get the questions, you know, what is the real impact to Tesla? And because we had just gotten the same exact kind of thing. Listen, the market, we as investors and traders are literally just coming out of this trade war situation. And I think because this is so fresh in our minds, we just finished coming out of a situation where we were at peak panic in the market. And, you know, you think about liquidation day or liberation day, and it's like the moment that Trump held that freaking poster up, what was going on in investors' minds and traders' minds? It was the absolute worst of the worst.
Yeah.
But at the same time, literally nothing had happened. It was just fear of what could be, what might be. And instantly that comes back up in your head. So yeah, you might have freaked out in the moment here, but overnight you're kind of like, oh shit, was this just the exact same situation? Yeah, it really was, right? You just panic sold again of fear that what could be, what might be. But when you sit for 5 freaking seconds and you think, what happened to this stock from a business perspective? What actually changed? What's the answer?
Nothing. Yeah.
Absolutely freaking nothing. So yes, this should have gone up, but you know, that's a fundamental perspective. That's just my personal perspective. What I need as a trader is I need price to tell me that, right? So I can't just because I think something doesn't make it real as a trader. As a trader, I need price action to actually tell me, okay, go now. I think a lot of crazy shit, man, let me tell you. And I can't act on all kinds of stuff, right? So I need the stock market to tell me, okay, go. So instantly, that very next day, we have this overnight, we call this a gap. What's important here is that, okay, people quickly bought, but even then there was still a lot of fear. So this attempt to go back down, this moment right here was very interesting. This moment right here, this is day 2. Day 2, there were sellers, but the fact that, and this was the, ooh, okay, now I have a sign. My first sign is that day 2, You hit your head on the 200-day simple moving average. Okay, fine. Day 2, and I have a gap up, but I haven't filled this gap. This gap is from that day 2 low to the overnight session gap. This now becomes in play.
Right.
Overnight the very next day, and this is where it all happens. The very next day, you're thinking in the morning, if anybody is in our trading group, they saw this. We're watching Tesla like a freaking hawk because I need the signal. And the signal to short Tesla, it's always available. I'm open to shorting Tesla. Would only be if and only it's below 270. Because in order for me to think that Tesla's going lower, it needs to make a new low. A new low here has to, even to this day, has to look like this. It must go down, right? Make a new low. So here, this is day 2 low. This is the day 1 gap up. Now day 3, we're coming into the open. This is looking sus. It's very sussy, right? You have you're going down. You're like, uh-oh, this is the New York. This is the London. We call London session free market area. It's opening. You're looking, oh shit, this is not a good look. But very quickly, within minutes of the market open, you're like, huh, well, where are the sellers? They're not selling. Everybody who sold here is starting to buy.
Yeah.
You should have instantly seen what should have happened. You should have instantly seen this. But the fact that you didn't, again, this should be familiar to you coming out of the trade war, whatever, weak ass bears. Sorry for cursing on your channel. Weak bears is what we see. These little yellow dots are opening ranges. And here, this green line is very important. This green line is that day 2 low. I know for a fact that if any point we are, as a trader, at any point, if we like start trading above day 2 low, we are going to go higher, right? It means that there are not enough sellers to continue to get this down. So I'm watching this like a hawk. There's an option. I don't want to go long right here. It's a little early because if I go long here from an option perspective, I risk this. But what I really need to see is I need to see something like this. That would be ideal.
Okay, so last question here on Tesla, and then we'll move on. From the charts right here, do you see a closer path to 270 or back to 360? If you had to kind of think,
I'm just gonna. What do you want me to? Okay, so I will hurry on this one, but yeah. So this was that moment, and I'm just trying to like tell you how it played out, so you knew this is the deal, right? Pretty much instantly that day you're already over. It was this moment that you knew the shorts are over. We're now over the tweet war right here, comment, and we can now commence whatever you want to price into Tesla for Robotaxis, which, by the way, even down here, there's no Robotaxi priced into Tesla. So one of two things. The prior breakdown that Tesla was dealing with was at 333. This box right here is the month of May. But what I can tell you is that if we're over 335, we're going back up to 370s. End of story. So 360, I don't think is a thing. I don't think that we're just going to go completely. So like, what's the point of this? I don't know. 350. This is either going to serve. What's going to happen when you think about this is an important story, is that anybody that sold down here is either still not able to get back into their shares because they don't want to have like a wash sale, maybe. So they're going to have to ape in later, or they're finally going to cave and be like, dude, that was such a dumb move. I shouldn't have sold. Or let's say they didn't sell and they're using this entire moment as an opportunity to add to new shares. So that's basically it. Anything over 320, look, the market is not pricing in that trade. The tweet wars didn't happen. Just didn't happen. The charts say it didn't happen. If we're below 320, okay, cool. We can go back down and we can consolidate a little bit. But at the same time, like 320 is your pivot. But even then, it's not like you're going down. Like you're pretty de-risked here. Even down here, there was no robotaxi. So like you still have that opportunity to price in anything for Tesla from a robotaxi perspective, because there is zero robotaxi price. Like you zoom out on this chart, we are basically at November. Like we were just at November, December. Right. So like there's no upside. It was completely de-risked. Typically I would be like, robotaxi could easily be a sell the news event. It's not the case here. It just presented a crazy opportunity where it was just completely de-risked. So anyways, so I think you could see, I think you could get back to right where we were, and we could still be right back into that old, we could be talking about 400s again, honestly, because this moment, the momentum that we just created could be a little bit of a springboard for Tesla. It could have just created a new opportunity for people to lever up, or new people to get long, or anybody that sold on that knee-jerk reaction might have to FOMO, might decide to FOMO back in and create a squeeze in the stock to the upside.
Right. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of a break before we get to the next ticker, because we do have Palmer Luckey on CNBC. Let's listen to what he has to say real quick about this Anduril raise, and then we'll get into all the other tickers that we have today.
Powered by AI and robots that include drones and autonomous submarines and unmanned fighter jets. Joining us now is Anduril founder Palmer Luckey, along with our own queen of the disruptor list, Julia Borson. Palmer, it's great to see you.
It's great to be here.
So let's start right there, because not only is there a focus on rebuilding the military and rethinking how we do that, but there is this focus on reindustrialization here in the U.S. So the fact that you just raised another $2.5 billion, how are you going to put that money to work?
Well, we're putting it to work in a lot of different ways, but one of the biggest individual spends is putting $900 million of our money into a new factory in Ohio called Arsenal 1. We're going to be hiring thousands of people there. It's about 5 million square feet of cutting-edge manufacturing space that we're going to be using to build autonomous fighter jets, missiles, torpedoes, a whole bunch of other really cool weapon systems. And in terms of reindustrialization writ large, even beyond Anduril, I think that America is coming to the realization that if we can't make the things that are critical for our national security, if we are dependent on foreign adversaries for critical minerals or critical electronics, then we're not actually independent of them at all. And I've been kind of riding this wave for a while. I was part of the problem for a while. You know, my previous job at Oculus VR, later acquired by Facebook, was building millions of virtual reality headsets in China, out of Chinese parts, for billions of dollars. And I'm glad that I get to be on the American side of the equation this time around.
Yeah, and that's a key piece that I think is sometimes overlooked in the Anduril story, is the fact that you are also helping to stand up directly or indirectly this, I think as you call it, super friends supply chain as you build out your different product lines. Looking at the technology that you are investing in and developing, looking at some of these different weapon systems as well, where do you see the most growth? What are you most excited about?
There's going to be growth across the board, but I'd say two categories. They're very different. One of them is just answering the question, how could this be done if AI is good? And that's something that Anduril has been doing since the beginning of our company 8 years ago. We started an AI company, Anduril Industries, the acronym is AI, back when AI was crazy. Nobody took it seriously. They saw it kind of like virtual reality as this always 20 years in the future, never in the present type of thing. But we ask ourselves, how would you do this differently if you had AI? How would you do ships differently? How would you do submarines differently? What would a missile look like? What would a fighter jet look like? And it's just applying that to everything. And people are finally realizing that it is the right way to think about it. How do you apply the most cutting edge tools to these problems? The other big area of expansion is, I think, going to be on the foreign side. Anduril has sold the vast and overwhelming majority of our capability to the United States government, to the United States military. But we do a bit of work here and there with U.S. allies around the world. Those allies are really doing a lot more, and I think that they want to take on a larger share of the problem for themselves. With Japan moving to double its defense budget, with Germany pledging to massively increase their spending as a fraction of GDP, I think there's going to be a lot of expansion in the global state of investment in next-gen technology that can win the next war rather than the last one.
So, Palmer, you just mentioned Meta earlier. Yes, you sold Oculus to Meta, but now you're partnering with Meta again. Meta did put you out after selling your company to them. Now you seem to have reconciled partnering with them to build next-generation headsets. What is the potential you see in this technology, and why does it make sense to partner with Meta?
Boy, what a roller coaster ride. You start a company, you sell it, you stay there for a few years, they fire you, you hate each other for a while, and then you partner up on a $22 billion program for the United States Army. Look, I'm working with Meta because we've buried the hatchet, and because there's a lot of incredible technology that they have that paired with Anduril can make a huge difference for the American warfighter. I'm talking about all the technology that I invented before I sold my company to Meta, all the technology that I developed while I was there, all the technology that they've spent tens of billions on since they fired me. I want to bring all of that technology to bear on the problem of turning soldiers into technomancers with seamless control of large numbers of autonomous systems and superhuman augmentation of their perception. I want to augment their vision, augment their hearing, augment their sense of touch. I want them to be safe from the bad guys and well aware of where the good guys are.
Palmer Luckey is going to get a lot of people to buy that stock when it goes public. I think that's one thing we can all agree on. So there you go. That is the Palmer Luckey interview here on CNBC. All right, Jason, let's do pounds here. This one's been relatively flat, kind of chilling at that all-time high level. What do you think is going on with this one?
Still there. I think last time we talked about it's last week, essentially. I think this is fine right now. So last week, it's this. So this is a weekly chart right now. You're still really digesting this area. 135.35 is good. As long as you're holding 127, and we are right now from a day. So I'm going to drop down to a daily perspective. You got one day that came down and tagged the low end of the week, 118.94, or that might have been the low of the week. And yeah, so Monday. So this is last week here. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then this is this Monday, open slightly lower, but 126. That is literally 50% of last week's range. And we're kind of just like sitting at the highs. So we call this an inside week, or it's essentially just consolidation week. It can continue to consolidate a little bit more. Just this little box here, even if it's a little something like that, that's good. But what you really need is you really need a full day or week completely outside like this, of that, like completely over. I'm going to call it this one just to be safe. 135.28. You get that. That's that's like blue skies overhead. Do you want targets for that, or you just want to know what that is? If you don't get that, what you need is at least 3 days to close over that. So like either you get a full day that's completely outside of that range, or if 3 days closing price is over that, call it 135.30, then it's basically going to happen soon.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's been chilling out in this triple digit range. I'm just happy it's consolidating here, which is
that would put it at about 140s, possibly 145 on an extension.
Right.
Yeah, downside though. Ooh, I didn't know this. It's not big. Yeah, I mean,
well, 110 around that range.
I don't even know if it's that. Like, well, there's this weird. I mean, the whole market, it's still the same. It's like sub 100, just under. The whole market has this really weird thing where like it says that something weird can happen, but nothing's happening. So like we just keep grinding higher. I think the whole market is just going to continue, seasonally speaking. Like we'll have this slow grind higher between now and, well, I've said this multiple times, now and like mid-July. And then mid to late July, we do typically seasonally take a little bit of a turn for the worst
Every time.
which leads into September.
Yep.
So while things can start to look really good, normally we actually do have like a little bit of the saying is like a blow off top. for the next like 45 days, which will sometimes be on low volume. So you have that summer, there's a term called the summer swoon, which may or may not, like low volume can produce actual rallies, but sometimes they get pulled back, and that sometimes produces that September like drawdown.
Yeah. Okay, let's get rid of the next two. Let's do the next two, and then we'll get into all the tickers. I see a lot of them in the chat. We got to do these two, and then we'll get into all the other tickers. Hood and NVIDIA. So let's do Hood. This one,
I mean, dude,
it's been fun.
You know, I was curious to see how much of this S&P like inclusion trade, I keep using air quotes today, inclusion was baked into the stock, and pleasantly surprised, I will say. Like,
it wasn't
really,
a lot. We're holding 73, 74.
Well, so to me, it was like nothing.
It was nothing.
Unfazed. I mean, to Vlad's credit, what a tweet the other day. But from Vlad, giving $1,000 to every person born in America. Like, it's
pretty awesome.
Generational shift right there. But which I think kind of holds you and I don't think have ever been in this stock for an S&P inclusion. So we don't really care, right? Like, it was I levered up into it. I wasn't personally in the camp of that we're going to get included just because, dude, the people that make those decisions, no offense if anybody's, I've seen some weird stuff happen. So like, I don't want to get my hopes up.
They didn't pick anyone. Forget Hood. They picked no one, which hasn't happened in 3 years.
Listen, dude. I mean, have you really like looked back and be like, why did they choose? It's every single time. It's like, why are they choosing these companies? Like, without fail. Anyways, we have a nice little consolidation here. It's not over. I think the market, I don't think, right? Like, the price action is telling me that people are still deciding whether or not they want to hodl from here. This area is good. Like 72. Look, I'm really not worried about it at all. What we have is a very Palantir like range. Here's last week. I'm just going to simply take last week's range. Oops. And I will just call it for what it is, 71.59, give or take. As long as we're over that, we are probably perfectly fine. It's not unless we're over 73.50 that we can comfortably say that, hey, over 73.50, we're going to go to 78s again and maybe a little bit higher. But as long as we're over this 71, call it 50 area, that's fine. If we're closing below that, like multiple closes below that, okay, fine. We could see that 65 again. But that's just a weekly. God, I can't even believe that's just the weekly range. And that's just it, right? Like, this is the move from this last breakout. So even coming back to this 67, dude, first of all, I don't really, again, this is like one more situation. I don't trade it. I don't really care about $3. I don't know about you guys. If you want to trade that, I don't think it's tradable, but interesting for me, Hoodie is coming into an area where that's over $70. It becomes tradable. Like, I can make money trading this thing. So that's cool. There is we call this like a volume shelf. So in here, like this area, this is the last consolidation area. So that's about 65s. If you see a pullback there, that's the first stop on the bus route if it does start to pull back.
Okay, and then NVIDIA, and then we'll get into all these other tickers. This one looks like green skies or blue skies for this one too.
Almost, not quite, but it's really, really trying. So this is the last week. 143 is a big deal. No pickle, right? We just have a wick right now, right? Just a wick.
Is the wick's name John?
Well, no, almost. It's not. It's a close on, right? It's just a close on. It's not a close above. So big deal, no pickle. This is it. So like tomorrow, and really now you have to do this 145. Let's say tomorrow you open up and you open up above and you hit this 145, but then you close below it. It's still not really going to count. That daily candle is just going to look like a bit of a wick, and you're still going to have kind of that choppy setup. So it's just going to look very, what you call wicky. What's constructive here is that it's going to continue to try. If it tries too many times and fails, that's it's going to have to go back down and collect more buyers. But overall, it's pretty good. What you do is, because it's not blue skies, meaning that there are still other areas here. So here's the larger view. You're still in this large box. I think this is a quarterly box. Yeah, so this is the quarterly box over here, from 153 to whatever this is, 115. Essentially, you are what is this? 143, that's your area. So you have two stops, 148.97 and then 153. So if you do get that 143 like close above, you might retest it a little bit. You have 149 as your next stop, and then your next stop is 153s, and then your blue skies. So you got some work to do, big dog, but it's one step at a time.
Okay. All right, let's get into a lot of other tickers in the chat. I see a bunch of different tickers, some new ones that we haven't done before, so let's get into it. I think we'll start off with a Chris pick. I don't know if you know, Chris is now long this name, UNH.
Oh, sure.
What do you think about this one?
I mean, I know it well. I bought it, but I think there's still. I bought it super skeptical position, speculative position. This is clearly consolidation. I think there's real risk here. Like, we have a new CEO, but who is the old? We have a new old CEO. They said, hey, we don't have any notices that we're under investigation. They're not going to get the notice. The reason it's not coming back to life is because you have that overhang, right? And so either the government steps in and says, oh, we're going to start working with them, and we do some things, or there's something good. We need a good catalyst, right? It needs a catalyst, or it needs the relief of some kind of weight off its shoulders. But until then, it'll probably be sideways, because you're still kind of concerned about the new CEO. So turnarounds like this sometimes can take years, sometimes, not all times, but this is not something that if you're in UNH, you should not be in UNH for a V-type recovery. You should be strapped in, ready to ride for multiple years, and possibly ready to buy another dip at like 220s. That's how this should be. And not even be thinking about trimming unless you're back at the highs. That's how UNH should be.
Yeah.
And because the new CEO can very well, he's got a blank check. He can very well uncover some serious skeletons. But at the end of the day, you're here because it is what it is. And it's very possible that this is going to be a really epic dip at the end of the day. From a price action perspective, yeah, it's a great spot, right? This, I believe, is well below its 200-week simple moving average. And usually, I know it is, usually below a 200-week simple, it gets really interesting. The box here that I'm going to outline is this area down here. And where 220 comes from, it's essentially these two little wicks over here. So that's about 210, 220. Call it this area right in here. So this is where you sit. That kind of came into, and that I would assume is like your risk right in here if it gets back down there, and that would just be one more skeleton that gets uncovered. The only issue is, look, there's not a lot of interest here. There's not. If there was a lot of interest, we would see this stock going higher. What we're seeing is consolidation, and we're just not seeing a lot of interest right now. So
Yeah.
it needs some kind of catalyst. It's not going down. Everybody who sold has sold. The risk is that unknown skeleton that a new CEO does find, in which case anybody who recently bought or any like weaker hands that are still holding out for whatever could sell, and that would show you the 200-ish level.
Can we do grab? A lot of people asking about this one. So this is down 7% on a more fundamental reason because of the convertible notes offering. How are you seeing?
Is there?
Yeah, I mean it hasn't
Come
even.
on, dude. The truth is, we just love you. We support you. We trust you. I'm joking, guys. I'm joking.
What are you thinking from a technical perspective?
I'm thinking that I'm long AK Media, and no, but
you have a point. The TA here really doesn't matter because it's down because of a fundamental issue, and it's only going to go up on a fundamental. I mean, that's how I know that technicals look decent on it, but it needs a catalyst, just like UNH, because this is not a stock that's like as liquid as a Microsoft, where the TA makes a lot of sense to kind of look at it, right?
Well, let me get my bearings here. So it did hit some kind of targets to the upside. I think the biggest thing for me is this area over here to the left is when we look at this last area where it consolidated and technically kind of broke down. I would really focus in on this. And this is a weekly chart. If I focus in on this and I'm not looking to the right yet, and I say, okay, so this lower end here kind of brings me to 483s. And then the bottom of this is that 413, which I know that created this box where in this box, we know that we could have that like jettison type whoosh move.
Yeah.
Which is a tradable type move. And until we get out of that, this area kind of becomes like that chop zone, let's call it. And that this is actually all the way up to 6. So 483 to 6, I wouldn't even say can chop, but it's more like consolidate. So as long as we're all right, so we're just barely below. I just don't want to see a whoosh down because we know that this shelf, this area in the chart creates a lot of velocity, right? Like that's what we know to be true from a technical perspective. A lot of velocity. I'd rather not see it down here. So what I do is I would drop down to a daily. What is this catalyst?
Convertible notes. They raised $1 billion.
What was it? Dilution?
It can be dilutive. The sort of argument here is that they need from the bulls. The argument is they need this $1 billion to complete an acquisition. There really isn't a bear case to it outside of them not doing anything with the cash. But if they don't do anything with the money, then yeah, it's just pure dilution.
Okay. So what I would do is we would consider this like there's an old school, at least near term as in like this kind of near term, the last week or so. This is just clearly to me, it looks like what we call like a megaphone. We've seen this before on multiple stocks. It's that price discovery broadening formation. It could be a knee-jerk reaction. What you'd want to see is this is one day, right? And we know that one day doesn't make a trend. If we see another day that's like consolidating, what I would do very quickly is I would just make note of today's low. Was it today that the news hit?
Yesterday night. Well, basically today the market reacted. So
yeah. So what I would do is I would make note of today's low. Even if tomorrow is like another whoosh down, I would treat this very much like Tesla. Day 2, market digests something. But if by day 3 you're back over 465, I would slam the buy button because this is going back up into the green zone.
Yeah, 100% agreed. 100%. I mean, we've seen it happen many times with convertible note raisings.
But day 2, I wouldn't do anything. I would let it breathe, let it digest. And that's the day I watch and I see, hey, okay, well, what's the market going to do? Right. Cause it's today's low. That's interesting on day 3. What you don't want to do is, you don't want to see this happen because it's going to be today's low. That is your reaction point.
Yes.
Whether or not it's below or above on like your day 3. Because
Yes.
if it's like this is good.
Right. Right. Okay. Rocket Lab. What are you thinking there?
I think you stay the course, dude. Honestly, I think that the tweet wars, we had a little anti-Elon trade on our hands, right? Between was ASTS, Rocket Lab, my red wire. I know all the space stocks when the tweet wars were going off, Papa Elon, Uncle Trump, whatever. These stocks, let's be honest, got a little hot, a little overheated. It doesn't change their stories, but they were a little hot coming in. So I think they're just simply cooling off here, and just kind of back to where they were. Now they could be presenting an opportunity as they're cooling off. The market likes to, overshoot both sides. Specifically, Rocket Lab, kind of interesting. This is where it was 2609. Anything under 26, I think anything under 26 is going to be an overshoot, where Rocket Lab is going to be below the tweet war zone. And similarly to the inverse of the Tesla trade is it's an overshoot. So it is possible that it overshoots. There's a little shelf here that's about 25 and a quarter. But it's very possible that you get a little bit of an overshoot that could be an opportunity. You'd want to, again, if you get an extension, that's fine. I'm seeing this just over, right now I'm seeing over 26 as where we should go. This is such a fast moving stock, dude. I'll tell you what, unless you're watching it, like it's a hard one.
Yeah, we had 32 yesterday.
Yeah, I like it in the 23s, like mid 23s. I really do. But I mean, look, net, still anything over the 21s is great, right? Like you're thinking about Rocket Lab. I'm like, dude, this thing was just 30 something. It was almost $40 the other day, right? You're like, if this thing cracks 33, I'm like, this could be $40. Like, well, right quick. And now you look at it, you're like, all right, well, just the other day, it was on a trajectory for 40. 2 days ago, you would have said, I would gobble this bad boy up at 20. Yeah. And now it's good. Maybe you get an opportunity to buy. What are you going to do? Are you going to do what you thought you were going to do or not? I mean, that's a question.
Right. Okay. Can we do HIMS, which went down on some GLP news today, but technical wise, yes.
Yeah. HIMS wasn't ready. I think I need to get some of my SMAs in. So HIMS was actually a little suspect anyways coming in. This is the 20-day simple moving average regardless of today. Here's your weekly candle. Last week's very extended. We are definitely below that area. So to me, this was looking like 50s anyways. You lose this, it could be looking like high 30s. Unless, of course, it's over 60. It really has to get over 60. And if it's over 60, it's very possible. If it's over 62, okay, yeah, you're going back to the highs. So that's how HIMS would work, but it is technically in this area or last week's zone. So technically this is consolidation. The biggest concern is this 20-day simple that you're kind of dealing with right now. When you zoom across, there is a little bit of consolidation. And what you look at here is like, okay, so the bears are stepping in at about 57 is what you can see, 57, 57, 57. But at the same time, there's this gap right here. So the bulls are stepping in at 52. So like the bears are like sell every time, sell. But the bears are buy, right? Every time, buy. So buy, sell. The battle is ensuing. Like the battle is in like full, like it's full on. So I don't want to have any part of this while these guys are going at it. This is essentially going to break, and I will know, like we will all know sooner than later, but they're at a stalemate right now. So we say as traders, don't diddle in the middle. Bro, this is right in the middle. So this is still, I believe it was last week, a no touch. But this could go either way.
Okay. Advanced money, bin destroyer, but maybe it turns into something different. AMD.
Maybe. So hasn't been a short for a while. What do you guys want to do on this?
Everyone wants you to say it's going to go to 150 and we're going to all make a lot of money. And so find a way to manufacture that. Yeah. Say something good to us.
You always say something good.
Because all we want to hear is you say bullish.
I don't know that I want to give him anything good. Guys, I am long AMD. That's all I'm going to say. I am literally long AMD right now.
Wait, when did you buy AMD? What?
Literally today. And I will continue to buy AMD. I don't know.
Oh, you're trolling or no?
I'm not trolling, dude.
Wow, that's a big deal, bro. You haven't bought AMD for a while. You're fucking trolling. You're trolling.
I'm not trolling. And I don't think AMD needs to break 125. I could give a shit if AMD breaks 125. I think it's over. Like, I think that everybody has got a lot of scar tissue. I'm cursing a lot on your channel. I am I really apologize.
I just cursed. Okay.
No, I look, I'm not an AMD bull, but I can't really ignore the charts anymore. Whether or not it goes now or later, I don't actually care, but I cannot ignore the setup any longer from a technical perspective. It would not be right anymore. What I'll say is I cannot unsee what I have seen. How's that?
AMD just became the Matrix. I love it.
Yeah. So this red box is what we call a quarterly candle. So like most people look at quarterly, most people look at daily, weekly, monthly. These are quarterly candles, right? So like, monthly candle, weekly candle. These are quarterly setup. This is actually 118. So 117.82. So honestly, 125, I really don't care about. Any dip down to 118, I'm in, if that makes sense. The way this works, and I'll just, because we know we're well above the 50 and the 20-day. We know that that's happened, right? We are below the 200-day. So it's very possible, even probable, that it slaps its head against the 200-day, like somebody was saying, and it gets like absolutely train wrecked, right? Like probable. And honestly, I'm in for that, and hopefully I get a 118 purchase. What's funny is that I was looking at this today, and I vividly remember, because I'm really old and I've been trading for a really long time. I vividly remember trading this many, many moons ago, very actively at 122. There is an extremely massive order block at 122. If you didn't know, that we are dealing with right now, and I just put the level here. It's 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 here. We're on it, baby. Actually, we're over it, right? So we're closing over it today. 122 happens to be that last weekly high. We closed over today. One day does not make a trend. That's fine. But this gray box here, that is that 118 level. Literally, as long as we're over that, I'm in. I think the bigger question is, what am I into? This green box is that week, that quarterly zone. Don't get weird. That is a 175. I know. I'm not trying to say 175 right now because we're too far. I shouldn't actually.
Do you talk to yourself like this when you're trading?
No, I'm used to trading with a community. I'm talking to you guys.
No, I know. It's like it's funny. Don't get weird when you're
it's 145, right? So 145 first is a big stretch goal. So level to level number one. So the first thing, so 140 was big stretch. Yes, 125 is important, but I think that I'm going to zoom back out here. So monthly, 131. So of course, 125 has to crack. Once 125 cracks, then it's 132s here, 131. And it's just like, it's this simple.
Did you buy stock or options?
I went options, bro.
Okay, so what's your
Because so a couple of reasons. Like one, this doesn't pay a dividend. Two,
No, that means you're bullish.
no, it means that I want to dip my toe in the water. I don't want to lay out a bunch of capital. I want to take a couple shots. I'm okay getting burned, but I don't have all the scar tissue of everybody else because I haven't been taking shots this whole time.
Yeah.
Right. I'm okay getting burned a couple times because I'm not really worried about it. I'm not taking, leaps or anything. My plan, because I'm a trader, my job as a trader is to take small pieces of an existing move in the market. If this is a large move, all I need to do is I just need to take little chunks of little pieces as this goes, just like I do Tesla, right? I might even take downside chunks as it goes, but this is the trajectory. I'm not trying to take this whole thing, right? Anything can happen. China can happen. Who knows, right? But a large chunk, if this happens, the largest chunk that I would like to capture is up to 145. And if I get lucky, there's a big giant chunk to 175. But no, I'm not like a super mega AMD bull, so I'm not jumping in equity. I think that would be like no, I'm not doing that.
But you're bullish, which is nice. At least
I'm bullish on the stock as long as it holds over 118. Now, this is a very large range, so something like this takes a lot of time. It's not a trade that I'm looking to have happen tomorrow. Can it get to 125 tomorrow? For sure, right? And then the day after tomorrow, can it be at 118? Absolutely, right? So, like, again, I'll take little stabs at it, but 122 is what I'm telling you will be that key pivot in between. Anything, as long as it's holding 118 for the next month or so, I think the trajectory is well within range. If I just took this piece, actually I haven't done this yet, but I should. If I just took this piece, yeah, so the next larger move is into the 130s.
right.
But honestly, beyond that, because this, I don't even need to draw this broader downtrend, we already know has been broken. Like I've said this for many weeks. This broader downtrend, look at this. It's broken.
No,
it's broke. It's been broke, dude. Like this is day 2 of the big break. Okay.
Dookie Pie, thank you for the $5 super chat. Jason is awesome. Thanks, Jason. Dookie Pie, thanks, you're awesome. Okay, let's do this one quick, and then we'll get to another one. Circle. And did you play this IPO at all?
No, I didn't. What do you mean by am I in the private placement?
No, I mean, did you run it? Did you chase it? Did you short it? Anything like that?
Yes.
You shorted it. Did you get the top?
No.
Did you get the top? What was the top? 140, 150? Where'd you short?
I'm currently short.
You're currently short. I don't hate this. I don't hate this at all, dude.
I don't. I mean, first of all, I'm way too long. I don't know if I'm going to be right or wrong. I don't even care if I'm right or wrong on this because it's just I needed a little short exposure.
It's like a hedge against the market turning a little bit.
Yeah,
Speculative
and it was cheap. And they opened options like out of the gate, dude. Out of the gate. Options are available right now on this.
That's actually interesting. They don't do that.
You didn't know that.
I didn't know that, actually.
Now you do.
Yeah, it was down 10% today.
Ooh. Look at the volume on those bad boys. Those are not all mine, but some of them are.
Dude, the 75 put has 1,100 open. The $60 put has 6,000 open. I mean,
no. Look at the volume.
The volume was 2,000 on the $60 put.
Dude, look at June 20th for a second.
Okay, which one?
70, 75.
75. My goodness, 11,000 volume.
Look at 70.
16,000. Everyone just completely called BS on this IPO.
No. Okay. So I'm on the chart right now. So this is, I'm just getting this in 1, 2, 3, 4 days. This is the 4th day open. So here's yesterday's low. It's just super simple, right? So super simple. Yesterday's range is here. Today, you open inside, but you're closing below yesterday's range. Here's day one range. It's big. It's a big range. So day one range, actually, so IPO price is 31, 32, just FYI. And you're at 64 over here. Tomorrow, if you are trading below 104s, actually, that 75, 70 range is well within reason.
Yeah.
Even though the delta is like some obscene number, it's just because this is the range of the stock. This is one moment where delta matters not in terms of options, because it doesn't really, because what's going on with the options of Circle is that volatility is completely skewed. Volatility is actually mispriced. If volatility was able to be accurately reflected in Circle options, the delta of these $70 puts would be significantly higher, because in reality, volatility actually affects your delta. People don't understand it, but it really does. So it's 104, basically opening day high. If you get back below that, you should be retracing into that day. 50% of that day's range is about 84. 65% of that range is about 77s. If you're below 77, yeah, man, you're going to the lows. But conversely, if you're long Circle, that's fine. Here over 108, you're still going higher. So this is just like that Tesla situation, right? If today is like, oh, okay, well, they're not done. The thing is, you can't really sell it, but it's one of those things where, like, I could easily see this just ripping face tomorrow. And I know that over 108.50, that's what's going to happen. Over 108.50, it's going higher, right? And that is what it is. And then we'll quickly exit stage left. Have a nice day. That's it. But I don't have any short exposure. I'm really not short anything. I don't have anything against Circle. I don't think that they can really short the stock, so I'm not really sure what's going on.
I like it as a hedge, dude. I really do.
Yeah, that's MSCR, whatever. This is the weird stuff that I do sometimes.
Okay, SOFI. I think I feel like it's getting ready for a move closer to 18. How are you thinking of this?
Whoa. Why?
Vibes.
Vibes. The vibes. What?
No,
vibes?
I mean, dude, I feel like we're about to get to all-time highs in the next month. I think rate cut probabilities get more likely in August, and the stock was 18 in January. I don't know. It just feels like it feels like it's out of purgatory. If any level of momentum stays the same, incremental margins are still getting better. Like, obviously, I'm not a fan of Noto. I'm not a fan of the execution of the leadership, but I don't think it deserves to go to $7 or $9. Which means the question to you is, do the charts say it stays flat? Because I don't think the charts are saying it goes down.
It almost did. Did you know that SOFI had a death cross?
I didn't. Can you show it to us on the thing?
Yeah, there it is. Do you remember that? You remember talking about this death cross?
Yeah.
It's still in a death cross, and how it's like the greatest technical indicator ever. It's actually still in a death cross.
That's the 50-day and 200-day convergence.
Boom.
Yep.
So the death cross was executed. Did you love these things? So you guys remember when the death cross tweets come out, you just laugh them off. So the death cross happened on June 3rd on SOFI.
And they happened at the end of April for the S&P, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And another one. This is so laughable. So here's how this is going to work. Here's your setup. You got a death cross. The bears, if we start coming out, stuff starts breaking down. What moving averages cross? So the 50-day, which is the blue simple moving average here, has crossed below the red, which is the 200-day simple moving average. That is below currently. You have a lower high. So here is your last high. Here, intraday. You are currently locking a new double top at a lower spot. So you also have a head and shoulders appearing on a daily. So you have all the ammo for the bears. So if this goes too long, so this could be bearish. One day below $14, you're going down. That's all it takes. What's all it should take. Remember, super weak bears. But the most powerful, most bullish setups are what? When the most bearish setups fail.
Yeah.
So I will give you this credit right there. I will tell you, I'll give you this. We'll call this, I don't know what we want to call it. We should make a new, I don't know. I have to make like a new emoji or something for you. We'll call it explosion. We'll call it this line. So over that, if you crack here, that's when your bears are completely invalidated. We're going to call this 1478. At 1478, you're also over this here. Yeah, you gone. So if you crack this 1478, 1480, all of these bears that might be waiting in the winds may or may not be. Yeah, they're going to have to cover if they're around. And then this larger broadening formation, which has been on the radar, this is that megaphone. We've come off the lows. This is still very much in play. Your point of control is the center line. It's where the largest consolidation is. You should get to 16 very quickly. That's not where you stop. Where you stop is the highs. You do make so you make a series of higher highs and higher lows, just like this. And we've been monitoring this for a while. You typically stop and you go like this, which you got to be careful because you can get that. But this is how this works. Well, there you have it. It's possible. Do you have a trigger? No. So what I would do is I would just set like on your chart, just add an alert. 1485 or whatever that is.
Yeah. Are you trading it right now, or you have no position in SOFI?
No, I mean, if I were to trade this, quite frankly, I could just pull these leaps up again. We could do some more leaps. It's still these are all like nothing's really changed on this stuff.
We'll do NBIS next, guys. We'll do this one.
News. Yeah, it's still be the 20, 27, 25s. I mean, there they are. They went a little bit more aggressive on this round, dude. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know if I would do 25. I would pick 20, I feel, for 2020.
No, they went into the January 26s. I don't.
Everyone's expecting a move before the end of the year, dude. Like,
so what they did was they went into the January 2026 15s, which I actually like that for like 250. That's really cool. And then they sprinkled a little extra sauce on the 20s. All right. That actually is that's like a real trade. It's not a lot of dollars yet, though. There's a lot of open interest, but not a lot of new money there. But that would be a good trade.
All right, NBIS, and then we'll do Google. NBIS, are you in this one at all? This is at a pretty monster.
No, this is a SAM trade.
This is a SAM trade, yes.
Yeah. No, because this is the most out of country I go is to to your grabby grab.
Do you like it? 30 to 50?
Give me a minute.
18 to 50? Basically.
I mean,
We'll do APLD, guys. We'll do that one as well.
oh God, you're really making me do that.
Dude, I am just the messenger for the
Do we have any super chats?
we do. We have to do Unity. Andre
yeah?
gave us $20. We got to do Unity, so we'll do that one.
Okay. $50 and change, whatever this is. So you're over the 20-week simple, which is that purple line, is important. It is, look, your first target acquired. This is like a wait and see. It's a big move in 3 days. I think you need a little consolidation. You can continue on slightly higher, but it doesn't mean anything, even if it gets to 60. You have two little blips, God, in the radar, on the radar here. So this, we call this like a fair value. And you have this little consolidation breakdown over here at 60. So you even if you got to 60, I don't know that it would really matter that much from a chart perspective. So like you could get that continuation into 60, and then if I bring this over, okay, so maybe you get to 60, and then it's definitely show me story. But if that would be your next stop for sure, where you got a lot of consolidation in the past, and then you have something that's a little bit more tradable, but that would be your next stop. But this is you have a big empty zone in here. So right now I would expect you want to let the market give a little catch up, right? Maybe like sideways. And then if it's over this, then that would be like your next move. Okay.
Okay. The Googs.
All right. So I saw somebody type with a G. I do not own, nor do I trade GOOG, nor would I ever suggest it. It's always with the L.
Why?
This is preferred shares versus common shares. This is also significantly more liquid, both from a equity and option perspective. I know it's less dollars, but think about that for a second. Preferred shares, less dollars. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Always with the L.
You're long, right? You're in this one.
No.
No? Okay.
See, this is, anyways, I believe that's right. So weekly though. So the first time it was no good, right? So you had 3 attempts. This one is fine. Actually, now you're okay. You've had your time. You took 3 attempts. Now it was this Monday that you got your full day. So you have 1 day. So these moments here, and I'll just put this fully across. 175, which is your Willow covenant announcement right here.
Yeah.
Your Willow. All this. It's Monday's candle that gives you the green light, right? Over here, these are super speculative. This is nonsense kind of moves. This, when you have an open and close, like, we've done this multiple times. This is solid, right? Like when I just talked about Palantir, when I say you want a full candle, open and close over, that's what that looks like. This is nonsense. Like this means nothing. There's no close over, nothing. This is, okay, you're trying. This is something. Now you're good. So now I think the question is, what are you good to? And I know there was news today that probably took it down, which is fine. Your first stop is going to be into this area, probably in the 183s, potentially in this 185s. And yeah, I mean, this is, all this, how quickly things change, right, dude? When you're looking at your Januaries, it's crazy, huh?
Dude, I only need, 30, 40 more bucks, which could definitely happen for a company like Google to break
How
even.
quickly things change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's what glares to me. What's glaring to me is actually this area. So did you add?
No.
You said you should add.
No.
Guys, what am I going to do with this guy?
I added at 157, bro. I added a while ago.
Oh, okay. That's good. So
I had it right before earnings. Yeah.
Oh, good. All right. So you brought your cost basis down. Now he's ahead of Nancy on multiple accounts because Nancy bought Hood late, right? So +1. Even today, that little wick down, if I was really interested in Google, today's announcement, look at this, dude. So today's announcement right here, that's actually that's an opportunity. 100%. So if you get things like this, look, as long as Google's holding this area, so 174 is important. Can it come down? Yeah. But as long as it's holding here, because of that Monday's candle, that matters. So when you see stuff like that, and when I say these things like a full day open and close above, that is a something burger. This is a nothing burger. And that little come back down, how fast that was bought up. Wow. It should tell you something.
Okay, so do we need to hold above 180 for the 200?
No, you're fine. No, you need to hold above 175.
Got it.
So as long as this is over that 17, well, it's not even it's 174. So you can come down. Any dips down to really, it's so even if it breaches 174, any dips down to 172. So even if it comes down because of that Monday's moment, all dips down to the 200-day become viable. This is what we call a trigger. So all of this is fake to me as a trader. Now I have a real commitment from the market. So Monday is a commitment. They're committing. What I'm seeing on the other days, there's no commitment, meaning like they're not holding that price action. They're trading it like intraday, and then they're throwing it away before the day closes, right? Before the day ends. Nobody's going home with it, right? Nobody's taking her home and sleeping overnight. They're just like one night standing Google over here.
Right.
Over here, like they took her home for the weekend, dude. They took her to their parents. They stayed for dinner and they woke up with her in the morning and had breakfast. Do you get it?
Yeah, they might end up going on vacation in the 200s.
Yeah, and then she tripped, fell, hit her head, and they picked her up and like coddled her. And you get it?
Oh, I get it.
Okay.
Okay, Navitas, NVTS. What do you think?
NVTS.
This one pumped from a
whoa, dude! I was not expecting to see eight handle on this bad boy.
The NVIDIA data center thing last week really helped them. I mean, it is the only story, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like it's FOMO now, but I'm curious what you think.
I don't know how to value this, to be fair. I really have no idea how to value this. So I would have to defer to like Jose. But not that matters, right? So, okay. So from technical perspective, this is a very, it's just obviously, I'd say obvious. It's one of those areas in a chart where I'm just drawing a straight line across. Just a straight up horizontal line. Here, breakdown. You are definitely at resistance. This looks like it was a SPAC. Your next level is that 990 SPAC. Was it a SPAC? I have to assume it was a SPAC.
I think it was, guys. 2021.
Just because of that dollar amount.
Yeah.
So, if you get that weekly hold over, then you should have that trajectory into that level. Yeah, what is this market cap now? What is only
1.5 billion. It's a small cap.
this is a micro cap.
It's a micro cap, yeah. So there's nothing to see on the chart here. You just think it's people are piling in at this point.
No, I mean it's the chart is at resistance. Like something like this, you just it's at resistance. It's just a whether or not it's 1.5 billion. I mean, like Bill Ackman can pump this if he wanted to.
Yeah.
So like,
I don't know.
Steve could pump this probably if he wanted to. So like, I don't know what to think of it.
This is very retail heavy, and I think it's also we're missing the short float part of this. Let me check. That is also what's causing this. This stock is shorted, 20%. Yeah, I mean that'll do it. At least that'll help on the squeeze. Okay,
that'll help on the squeeze. Okay.
All right, so $8 hitting resistance, but
yeah, it's a key resistance. But if it cracks that, then it goes to 990.
Yeah,
that's your next level.
Okay, APLD, Applied Digital. They signed a CoreWeave deal last week.
I'm scared to click enter here. What I'm going to see, I don't know. Oh, okay.
Kind of looks the same.
Why do I have lines on this chart, dude?
Because you were trying to trade this. You were trying to trade it.
No, dude, I have lines on this stock from 2022. This has been around for a minute, man. This has been around for a minute. Like I missed my trade at 4. Apparently I was waiting for it. I didn't have an alert set at 5. You're late. We're all late. What do you want to say?
Well, CoreWeave was enough to get this to have a pretty fun move.
This is super squeezy.
This one is also, I believe, let me just check real quick. Short float as of May 30th. Yeah, 40%. 39.5%.
A bigger market cap than NVTS, though.
Yeah. APLD, 2.8 billion. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this is your box. Oh yeah, you're coming down. So this area, okay. I don't care what anybody says. The volume here, you have a hard imbalance. I don't know what you want to do with this, but when you see, so this has created an imbalance in the market. On the right hand side of my screen, this is volume where you've created an imbalance in the market, meaning that there are no sellers. So the market will naturally create like a vacuum here. So this is going to get sucked in at some point, most likely to that $11 range, which is what it is. It does not mean that it's going to stop there at all. What it means is that is the first area. And as I zoom in a little bit more, there are many, many more. Dude, I don't know what happened here. This is there's a story. I don't know what the story is. This was the last breakout area in that 1030-ish. So this makes sense. You're going to come into this 11. You're probably going to, well, actually it came in already. So it already hit this 11. I have to zoom in so tiny. I can't look at that large scale. Okay. So it already came back in. It pivoted here. It already came back in. So that is technically filled, but that happened overnight. It's a tough one, dude. It's very tough. It can continue now because I think this has been filled, but this was after market hours. I don't know if it's going to qualify because I still don't see it as really filled yet. Yeah. And you really have this $7. Whoopsies. Yeah, it did. He's right. So it did already come back. So because it has, the issue I have is that this happened in the aftermarket, which honestly, aftermarket, if anything after hours is to count, it's typically pre-market, not usually aftermarket, but because this is such a low float, it might. And here we are holding above it, so maybe. But these are not. I don't want to do these stocks. Like I will punt on this.
Bear Market Vibes, thank you for the $25 super chat. Appreciate it. Thanks for all you do. Bear Market Vibes, thank you for being here. Jason, CoreWeave, before we do meta, let me take a look at that. And if you think it's a short at all.
Yeah, I don't have a trigger yet. No.
I just don't want to touch this, bro. I feel like
It's
taking a life of its own at this point.
First of all, you gotta have balls of steel on this bad boy.
I just want to know who's buying
just
it.
like APLD. Like it's a different breed, right? It's a different breed to deal with something like NVTS, APLD, CoreWeave. It's not me. It's not you. Those are penny stock people, right? And the level of risk appetite is beyond what is irresponsible level of risk appetite, dude. But I love them to death. I love them to death. Let me be crystal clear. They're the most fun people, but goddamn, they're crazy. But anyways, so here's where we are on CoreWeave. You've got a break. You've got a retest. You've got a bit of a consolidation down here, right? Can it come down and break and retest again? It kind of already did. So, this area of interest right here is important, right? Like it's consolidating. It's not breaking. And of this entire range that happens to be about 50%, yes. So to me, this leaves this as like, here's your upper consolidation. It as long as it's holding, what we're gonna see here is like 147. This area is your consolidation area. If it's holding this, quite frankly, the odds of this breaking up and out is again still very possible. I'll tell you what that looks like here in a second. Jesus. It's 185, 190. And that would be like whoop, just there. And then you do this whole rigmarole one more time. Justified, unjustified, I couldn't tell you. If you lose this, and I don't think it matters from a technical perspective. You lose this, you're here. You lose this, you're definitively here. It's not until you lose that, then you're in the gulag. All of these are recoverable, actually. But this area here, this 120, that is not recoverable. So you just don't want to. I mean, this is 130 is recoverable, but if you're from an uptrend perspective, if you're really losing this and like this whole section, like you're not going to have you're going to have a hell of a time getting back over this from below. Like you would be like, dude, this would be forever. But if you lose this, you're gulag. And then that's what that's going to look like.
Okay, so ultimately, this one's running on momentum as well. And
it is.
Yeah, you're not going to touch it. Well, the other thing is 90% of the shares.
Listen, I will touch it for a short time if the opportunity presents itself, because this is momentum, but it's not one that like, I might take it home overnight, but I'm not. It's not like I'm putting a ring on it or anything.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's do meta. Breaking back over 700. What do you think about this one?
Did it?
I think it closed at 700, if I'm not wrong.
I was a little worried about this one the other day. A little bit.
This has been the best max 7 year to date from a percentage return.
Has it? Oh, okay. Is it?
I'm pretty sure Meta year to date is up 17.
Oh,
NVIDIA year to date's up 4. Yeah, year to date, Meta's crushed everybody.
okay. Well, Microsoft is the only Mag 7 that's making new all-time highs.
Microsoft year to date is up 12. Yeah.
But it is the only Mag
Yeah.
7 making new all-time highs.
Correct. Yeah.
So, okay. It was, do you know if it was also the only, the Mag 7 that had the smallest drawdown? Because that's usually Microsoft's. Even in the midst of COVID, in the depths of COVID, I believe Microsoft had the itty bitty drawdown, like the smallest drawdown. Anyways.
Microsoft's drawdown was 20%, which, yeah, I think was the lowest peak to trough 2025.
Yeah.
Definitely feels like that.
Sounds about right. That is Microsoft for you. That's why you own it. All right. So
we hold 700. You think that?
I don't know. Give me a minute. So Meta's had this broadening formation for a minute. We got a little overheated on it. Yeah, I think so this is weekly. Yeah. What is that? 688?
Yep.
I mean, hold for how long? I don't know. 710 is more important. Yeah, 710 is more important. 710 is definitely more important. So yeah, we get to 700, but that's kind of meaningless here.
Dude, I was about to read this as breaking news. Someone said NATO to add Fartcoin to their spending target. I legit was about to read that, and I'm still reading.
Did you see Trump just tweeted a little bit ago? It was a truth. He said he's buying Tesla stock.
No, he didn't. That would be crazy, bro. That would be kissing and making up in real time.
He said she is a very hard man to deal with, but I'm buying Tesla stock.
Could you imagine? He said, dude, the Tesla would be like at 400 in 2 seconds if he.
He didn't even go for it, not even a little bit. Tesla.
Dude, imagine he said that and Barron loaded up right before. I feel like Barron's gonna be the richest person on the planet one day. Like,
yeah. So this 700 it's a nice round psychological pivot, but from a price action perspective, it was kind of meaningless. So that's all well and good. 710 is more important. And you have a lot of congestion up here. I think this gets sucked up into 736 sooner than later. And I'm looking at this consolidation from earlier. Let me get this because there's a lot of traffic up here. I'm not really sure. When this break up and break down here, 702s. What is this? 705s. But there is wow, that's way up there. Was this earnings? For some reason.
oh, also Meta, the news today, they're spending $15 billion to take a 50%
not earnings. Yeah, I saw that. 15 million to do what? What was it?
Take a 49% stake in Scale AI.
Oh.
So,
well,
I mean, it didn't matter that much, but they are spending aggressively to, win in AI.
So much for the year of efficiency, huh?
Dude, it's the decade of AI now.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm trying to get really I have to get really microscopic because we're here. So there's a couple areas this is from a trade perspective. Little blips because we have moved here. So over 705, you have a $10 shelf that should get filled very quickly. And then you could get really choppy, just like we have in the past. And then there's like a whoosh move here, which if this is sustained, what your all-time high should be is, let's see, this trajectory is more like, I'd say probably like 780s. It's going to look like 800s, but it's probably going to come up short. This is just so freaking fracking vertical, dude. It's crazy to see how vertical this is.
So you like it here? You like the chart?
I mean, yeah, the chart looks good, dude. The whole thing is like, I'm just telling you, like, it looks like we're gonna grind higher, but we just really haven't had much pullback. Like, there are just some epic. We're setting up for a really nice blow off top, really nice one, which may or may not. Well, this thing is telling me 869. I don't know why that thing's telling me. Maybe it's 869.
Yeah. Okay, can we do?
I do own Meta stock.
What do you say?
I do own Meta stock. Let me just do one more. Sorry. This is just, yeah, this is crazy where we are. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Okay, 745-ish for this one. And then we'll see.
Okay, can we do Celsius?
I mean, it was a long at 30 something, right? There, I said 31. Whenever I sold, if it's over that, it's going to be a long. It's probably on its way to 49. Oh, there you go. If you grabbed it from 20, cool.
This thing's up 60% year to date, bro.
There you go. But this is 27s. This is my 32. Nope, I didn't buy it. You did get an opportunity again right here. I think I sold it. One of these two. One of these areas. 31s. Sold it here. Came all the way back. Never looked back. See you later. But it should come back. Do you ever look back at these and be like, oh, I want to buy it now?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh, really?
This was the only thing that was stable during the Terra volatility too, which was hilarious.
Oh, because it was so de-risked.
Yeah.
It's 49. It's 49, just under 50. So you're gonna go. It's this area here. I mean, I don't even know if they're doing that much better, but this is your zone. So you're getting sucked up in this area, but there's a 47. Wherever that is. Oh yeah. So you're just under 40, just around 47. I mean, you're close. And that looks like about the last breakdown. Here.
Yeah.
So you really should get there. You really should get there. But then you have to reevaluate. I have no idea what's going on. Because if there's no reason for the stock to be doing this, and again, I don't know. If there is no reason for the stock to be doing this, well, who knows? But if you can overcome that area, that's fine. Your next level is, well, you got to get over 50. Sorry. So if you're over 50, then you're back in the 60s, so on and so forth. $10 at a time.
Okay. ASML. What are you thinking of this one? In the semiconductor space.
This good? Straight up. That's cool. It's a slower mover. You have a so today's first. So right now it looks good, but you're gonna have earnings that's gonna change the chart sooner than later. I can't. It looks good until it doesn't because of earnings. It looks good up to. It actually has like $100 maybe. A little bit less than $100 to 840. Ain't change. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of. It's real choppy over here. It looks good, but what's the semi do?
Chip design, if I'm not wrong.
What kind of chip design?
The stuff that you need for AI. That I have no clue. I don't freaking know.
Okay.
But they do. They're part of the semiconductor ecosystem, you know?
Yeah, I mean, so like there are semis that like
Lithography machines, yes, that shit.
Who? Lithography? Dude, honestly, that didn't help me at all.
They make Doritos, bro.
Lithography, I think of lithographs, like, which is really probably not at all what that is.
Yeah, I have no idea. I actually did a deep dive on these guys like 5 months ago, but I did not retain enough to actually explain everything about them.
So, I mean, it's the first full day. So, remember, like Google, today is like the first full day over this 770 level. So, that's an important moment, which up to the next level is like 849. So, the trajectory is from here to here, at which point you're going to have earnings. So, between here and there, you have to navigate whatever trade tweets and whatever interest rate shenanigans, and then you have earnings.
And we have CPI tomorrow.
Which earnings can do this, or earnings can do whatever. They can do that, but we don't know until we get there.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on from that one real quick, guys. If you're not following Jason on X, there's his Twitter right there. You can annoy him for chart requests every single day, and you will see him gamble every day as well on basketball. All right, have you been picking OKC or Pacers? Have you been doing well?
Dude, do you want first of all, I opened the server up for free, but I opened a free channel. You have to go to YouTube. I don't know. I can drop a free link.
Yeah.
I cannot. Can someone?
It's in your Twitter, right? From your Twitter bio?
Huh?
I'll take it. It's from your Twitter bio, right?
No, I don't really open up the server because we get too much spam. So I was just gonna drop it in there. But no, is anybody in the chat in our sports server? Anybody from our chat, tell them if you're making money or not. I'll just tell you that. My guess is now all of a sudden there's nobody from our chat.
Oh, but I know your trades. You do very well. You pick the right teams every time. Somehow you get the team every time.
Listen, we make so much money. They're freaking tired of making money. They're actually sick of making money. Let me see. Our sports betting area is literally, I don't know how to say this. We are sick of making money. Here's your boy Sam. Sam just crushing it. Where's the screenshots? Everybody crushing it.
It's all on Hood, which I love.
A lot of dude. Hey, we wouldn't have done this if so what is that? We wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for Vlad. This would not have opened up like this.
No.
Do you remember March Madness? March Madness, I did like a what do I want to say? I did like a small account challenge. And that account was like, I took like $100, turned in like 10 grand. That account is well over 50 grand right now. And I'm pretty positive this account is going to be $1 million. I'm not joking. I have had 10 once in a lifetime bets like go insane. I mean, insane.
Okay. I love it.
What is French? Get out of here.
Okay. Can we do Jason sort up on the chat? Can we do Reddit? Look at that one.
Jason is banned from all casinos. Yeah, we can do Reddit.
We'll do Amazon next. We'll do that one.
Reddit is interesting. Like it got really close. So this 125 is like just like banging its head up against this. Let's see. I should start. Anyways, it's trying, man. It's really trying.
I feel like they have a Google headwind as well. That's
No, they do. They do. So,
dude, it's a real, like, if search traffic is declining for every major platform that's dependent on it, like, they need to optimize for AI engines, and that might just take a little time for Reddit.
it might.
And they're going to need to be indexed from the AI engines, which, you know, might not be as easy as SEO. It is theoretically an existential threat to their business.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, I think, you know, they'll figure it out and be fine.
So, I mean, it's clearly consolidating. I think it wants to do it. It's very squeezy. It's just kind of running, like hitting its head up against that 200-day right now. It's a pretty bearish setup normally, but the market's very bullish, and this is a laggard, right? So what I would say is that this could be one of those, again, one of those bearish setups that is just taking a little bit of time to fail. Unless something happens in the market where we pull back, it could legitimately be at risk. But this is very close to getting very squeezy. I'm trying to grab. So it's kind of popped like a couple times in here, and I know this level. Just want to do like a horizontal. So whenever it's gotten really close to these, it's like had this good trajectory. I think it can do another little back and fill down in here, which would kind of be like this. And that would need to fire off, but it needs investor like interest, where before it had a lot, and there's just a lot of other things kind of going right now. And it's,
retail doesn't care about this anymore.
Yeah. So if retail just doesn't care about it anymore, it's not going to get going. And that's the biggest concern that I have. Like,
dude, retail is like that meme. Dude, retail literally, this is the meme retail.
Yeah, like. Look at this. It's 5.6 million shares on a 30-day average of 9. It's very
retail low. Is literally like this with a stock, bro. When they get bored, they're done. They're done. They're like, we'll move on to the next one. They don't care.
Yeah.
And so if you're the retail darling, enjoy it while you have their attention. But once they're done, they will take their capital, pump up something else.
Yeah. So the levels I've been watching 113 and 113.30, give or take, and below that was like 108s. So I think you can watch that as well. Like if you want to put, like, you just right click and then set an alert. And then if it gets close to that, you just want to see how the price reacts, right? So it can come back in, hit that, and then you want to see a little sideways and close really strong. And if it starts to close strong overnight, what happens is Reddit does this thing where it just goes whoosh upside. And it's crazy because, like, this is a day. Oh, come on. It was like this, where here you get to the 118 because that was another pivot. So 118s and 113s. This day, this looks ugly, right? Coming in, this looks ugly. You're like, all right, well, it didn't break that 118. So this is, first of all, this 118 is like you gotta get over. Until you're fully day over, it's kind of like that Google situation where it's like, yeah, they're playing with you for the day, but nobody's taking you home, right? Nobody's taking you home yet. They'll pretend to like you, but they don't really like you. And then, overnight, they kind of like swoop her up and then they'll play with her for the day. It was like all of a sudden, but nobody takes you home, right? Nobody's taking her home. So that's
you're really on this analogy today, dude.
It's just accurate. I don't know what it is. So either she gets back to 113 or you get that full day, like completely over 118 and change in a quarter.
Yeah. Okay, can we do SMCI. What do you think about this one?
This is accumulation. So it's accumulating. It's not ready. It's building though. It is building. It's good. This area is being used. Somebody's using this to build a position. It doesn't mean it's ready though. You're not. So like all of this is being bought. So bought. You still have some sellers in the way right here. So they're selling, right? Whoever is tired of the stock. Well, namely Amit, who's selling his bags that he has left over. Once his bags that he has left over are empty, then the rest of you can go to 470 and change.
I actually made $3,000 on this stock in February, but that's the most I've played.
Oh, his bags are already empty. Don't worry, guys. He's out of the way.
I think I sold at 42, so it's kind of the same range right now.
Oh, you did get, but you did it overnight. You didn't have to bag hold.
That's also true.
That's good.
That's also true.
Moved on to the next one. No, but 47 is still it's going to be a big deal. And so it's just even if you get through here, like you still have to deal with that level. You'll have the same situation, right? And you'll do it again essentially in here until maybe just maybe you can crack through. But this is market dependent. The setup here is constructive. It's okay, but like it looks good. I don't know if this is one. Honestly, I would rather AMD over SMCI here.
Wow.
I know, right?
I mean, I don't hate that.
Mostly because like the big level is 48s. So like if it's over 48, then I'm like, okay, the market really doesn't care anymore, and they just want this.
Yeah. Okay. Can we do Amazon?
Amazon
217. Nice little.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little move today.
It's a good one. Do we know when Bezos sold?
Bezos has not filed any sales yet.
I thought he did file to sell. He hasn't filed that.
I mean, he
that
filed some,
happened.
but I think he's still. Well, you're right. I don't know how much of his billion he still.
Oh, that he filed that he's waiting in the wings.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, yo, I don't know.
I feel like this one's been a sleeper all year, but it's. I mean, in April.
Look, we talked about this. This was one of my annual picks. Like, and even this is the view from my perspective, from a yearly, like an annual perspective. And I even said like then this could come down and this whole view still be valid, right? And here we are. Yeah, it even came down and this is still valid, right? So like as long as that's your viewpoint, like you're fine. Honestly, this it'll I suppose be seasonally dependent. The view is still up in here, right? In the next 12 to 24 months, I guess. Well, this is monthly. So look, I mean, let me be real here for a second. So it's 123 next. If we get to 123, we do have this little area 125s, 120. I wouldn't even call it 125s. Oh yeah, this is the consolidation here.
Hmm.
120, yeah, 123. I said 123 or 223. So it is $223. God, tongue twister. And we could go higher, but you're not out of the woods yet. This is similar to NVIDIA. It's like you feel like you're blue skies. Listen, you're not blue skies, so you're all-time highs, right? In that case, which it seems like a foreseeable, like it seems like it's going to happen, but just want to you don't want to assume too much because you never know. Trump can say something really stupid like at any time because we are in a Trump market. And in that case, it is into that 280s, 290 area.
Okay. Can we do Oscar Health? OSCR.
14s ran into the 200-day simple. That's holding. Retrace, still in consolidation, but I think if you like this, you like this long time. Yeah. Stay the course.
Stay the course.
Stay the course. It's done this move many times. It was just like still consolidating.
Okay. Broadcom.
What did you do to Broadcom?
I didn't do anything. They had earnings and they dropped, and now they're recovering.
Not a new low today yet. Of course.
Yeah, this one was all-time highs right before earnings. So
this is going to be an interesting one. So here's earnings. This is earnings low. That number is 245.32. Clearly acting as overhead resistance. See, again, just like we did on that. So I sorry for spending so much time on Tesla earlier, you guys. But the reason I did that was because that scenario is so important in terms of understanding how a stock is reacting in the moment. We've seen this time and time again. It's just like this, even just today, you'll see it so many times in the future. The second that Broadcom is over 245 and change, then you know the selling's done. But until then, the reason that I didn't jump in front of that train was because this could happen and it could still happen, right? So what you want to see is you want to see this is fine. This is just a watch. You want to see it get over and retest it from above. And you want to see this level then act as support, and you know the bears are done and over with. You don't really want to be jumping in here. Like that is dangerous because you could get smacked right in the face anticipating a move. And unless you have like a 3 to 5 year time horizon, which you might, that's investing, that's not trading, you're jumping the gun.
okay. Can we do Coinbase? And then we'll do Bitcoin.
Coinbase loves its Fridays. Today is Tuesday.
Yeah.
260 is a big deal. It's like a Vlasic deal. It's not the Clausen. Clausen's a better deal. Vlasics are kind of squishy.
This one already had the S&P catalyst too.
I mean, yeah, like this again, straight across, like massive pivot, right? Massive pivot. The biggest difference here is that the consolidation is below that 260 pivot. It doesn't mean that it's going to go down, but this setup here, like this series, this cluster of candles is not bullish. Like this cluster of candles is historically bearish. So like this is basically saying, hey, look, it tried to go higher in this scenario, right? And so there were some bulls setting up. And then what happened was that it went back down. And then, okay, so they gave it another shot and it tried to go back up. But then what happened here was that the people that were like diamond handing a little bit, they got fed up and they started to sell it off again, which is why you got this. And then it came back up. And this moment today, it's like, yo, they still were hodling and somebody sold again. And so this moment is setting up for some pretty big disappointment. The only way this is bullish is if that disappointment fails and you get over this. So in this moment, I don't think you trade it. Even down here, I don't think that you play, because this could be nothingness. The trade here would be actually to wait for this area to break. And you can look at this kind of level at 245 to say, if whoever was buying here, because clearly somebody is still holding out hope down around 245, when they give up, it's going to look like this. Then you could trade that down here. But in the meantime, I would still let this digest, because it's possible that they change their mind and they're like, you know what? I still like you, Coinbase. I'm going to come back into you and play a little bit. And if you were trying to short here, well, you could be in for a rude awakening, having tried to anticipate something there. So I would not play here. I would either play here or here.
Can we do Unity? Someone did ask for that in the super chat.
So Unity had that big squeeze. Honestly, like, to me, I grabbed some really far out calls and just kind of like sold like 80% and said, well, okay, cool. See what happens. And then forget that I own it. And it's still fine. I mean, I really don't, it's actually consolidating over this area that was squeezing. I think somebody left. So that's no fun, but you never know. It's still going to be one where, like, it needs a lot more catalyst. It's not super interesting anymore because it didn't get the legs that I was really looking for, but it's 31 is that major level, which, by the way, that's a really long ways away. So to me, at 21 or whatever it was, I think it was at $20, like super low 20s. I was like, this has 50% upside. Look, in very short order, the freaking thing went like 35%. Like you're like, that's crazy. And it's still holding up there. 50% was here. Actually, if that gets higher, it is even higher. But so what, and these are really old targets. So it's possible. I just don't know. Unity's okay. It's not the best of breed. It's kind of like video gaming. Clearly Roblox is like, the video game play if you're going to play that. But the setup is squeezy. It's kind of like a Roblox or like a Reddit, where it's like, yeah, it's there. The setup is still there. Like, it's still there. But we want to see more interest from Mr. Market here. But this is good. Like, it's back over this area holding 24s. If it does fail, sure, it can go back to 21, but holding up here is actually constructive.
Okay. Soundhound.
I would love to pass on these. Anything under $10, I mean, pass. So not interesting. This is just like epic consolidation, man. You need news, or you are in for a long haul here. So like this was, but you're actually, I mean, so it was doing good, but we didn't see the consolidation. This needed to go. This needed to go here. You can get ready to short. But I have no interest in shorting this because, like, what's the target?
Right. Yeah, and I think there is volume because of retail, but you're right. There needs to be an actual catalyst besides earnings, which is fair.
Like the short is like 840, because like it wasn't a good channel and it got the pop, right? So like this was the pop, boom, but then it made a lower high, which is not what you really want to see. It's like fine, but then now after today, well, it's after this 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 days, 1, 2, 3 underneath that channel. It's not like it's gonna die, but like there's definitely no interest. Honestly, what this looks like it's a short setup, but a short setup that's just gonna go like this.
Yeah.
So there's another catalyst.
Okay, can we do ASTS?
I
Do you own this one?
no. I actually surprised how it's holding in right now. I feel like this was an anti-Elon chart.
Yes, I agree.
I do not think it deserves to be up here. I think I would short this very quickly. I do know the company. I do know that they're actually doing well in maybe I would take a second before I did anything to read some news because I don't know. But right into resistance, I'm not pressing that bet. That's for sure. I would be more interested in fading this move. Quite frankly, I am now getting interested. I was not.
Chris is a big fan of this one,
That's fine.
but I think he would agree short term it's probably moving on Elon sentiment more.
It's an anti-Elon stock.
Yeah.
Chris probably owns those $5,035 puts for June that went out today.
He might.
I don't know. Okay, so I actually know. So they're doing well, actually, believe it or not. But yeah, it's super old. But Rocket Lab pulled back a little bit. I mean, dude, I feel like a lot of this move was if Rocket Lab comes back, Redwire pulls back a little bit. If they were pumping on, if any of this pump was anti-Elon, if not, I could easily be wrong. There were a lot of articles that went out the day that happened.
Yeah.
A lot of articles that were promoting ASTS as an anti-Elon stock, so they could still be hodling. It wasn't until today that Tesla reclaimed the tweet war level.
Yeah.
So I actually think this is a watch.
Baba, any thoughts on this one, given the China trade deal?
It's very trade war dependent. So this actually looks good. I think that 110 was like this area. I was actually short for a little bit, and I covered. I think I was looking for this kind of area to fill quickly. At 115 was a long because it was no longer coming down. So I think your long spot was anywhere down here. I kind of feel like I think if you're asking me about this, you should already be long. This is a tough spot to be net new long because this is a very hard trade location is crucial on Baba. If you're asking me about new money here on Baba, I would say no, because this is not how you trade Baba. Typically, this is like how you would trade a normal stock, and this is no normal stock. This is right in the middle, so it's either going to go one way or the other. And that's kind of like gamble. I would have rather you should have been long down here, and now taking profits and then letting your runners run, rather than new money long. This is not a good trade location.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of the trade deal really means this thing pumps or dumps.
I don't know either, but so meaning trade location in terms of like this is coming off of consolidation, but you're right in the middle of it. Like this is the worst trade location, like definitively the worst trade. Your trade location should be here or here for shorts. I mean, not in the middle. But okay.
Okay.
For new money. If you're long down here, you're fine.
Tempest. What do you think about this one? And then after this, guys, we'll do rapid fire because I know Jason's got a dip in 20 minutes, so we'll do rapid fire right after this one. This one is Pelosi's darling.
You guys have the weirdest tickers in your channel.
Dude, they just, I mean, people are curious about it.
They miss so many good ones too, so it's fine. But it's all good. Again, right into resistance, I would not press new money longs here. But you watch it, it's got to get over. Yeah. So it's super bullish market. So it's hard to short, but I wouldn't. So in a bull market, you want to buy at support for sure. In a bear market, you want to short at resistance. Let's say we were in a bear market. Now we're back to a bull market. Neither one of those do I want to buy at resistance, right? Like I just definitely don't want to buy at resistance. So again, we call this trade location. This trade location for a new money trade is poo-poo. But if you're already long, you also don't sell here. You just let your runners run and stay long.
Okay, let's do some rapid fire. I know you have a couple tickers.
You think target. I actually had this trade here. So like this is, look at this. So trade would have been at least 63.82. Did we send this last time? I don't know. You could have had a trade here with a stop here. This says PT. PT means profit target, as in sell.
Yeah.
And then you can hold the runners and then you sell. So you should sell something. Take measures. All right, go ahead.
And again, Pelosi doesn't lose. So, okay, so we'll do rapid fire. What are some of the tickers? I know you had 2 or 3 that you were.
That's
really
fine. Let's do. I see there's so many. Dude, hit me with your super chats first, dude. I know there were. I saw a bunch.
One of them had JP Morgan. Is there something there you like?
Yeah.
JPM.
Oh, that's our guy. Is Savage still here? So I don't even know. Savage might be gone. Savage is a student. He's been in the class. So this is consolidation here. This is what we call like accumulation. This, oops, here, you can run straight across. And so that's just a very basic straight line. I can take this and I'll say, okay, this little wick is important. Look, he's already gone. You did him dirty.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, so this is a big break level. So right now, this is running into resistance, but this one, because this has already gone sideways and it's consolidated, this is accumulation, we would call it. This is a 30-day sideways, just like we're talking about SMCI, like accumulating, but this one is very close to the top here. When you zoom across, you look left. This is an explosion level when you can say, okay, here you have this big giant candle here. This is very important. You can look at something like this and you can say, hey, look, from here to here, I have a big, ginormous box that this bad boy can get sucked right up into in very short order. So over 270, did you have like a massive move that could happen very quickly? So yes, this is an important chart to watch. And so what happens here is that right now you got the first kind of like, I'm down on 30 now. I mean, this is happening. It's probably happening next week, I would assume. You have almost a full day. Tomorrow, if you get a full day over this 267, which is yesterday's high, is very likely. I think this will be a next week. And you get from in a single week session, $10 on JP Morgan, which is nearly unheard of. Maybe even a couple days.
Is this kind of like your pick of the week you're thinking of?
No, but
you like it.
But this is how you pick stocks. This is a very good pick.
Okay, can we do ELF? This one had a massive move after the China and earnings.
I mean, so no, this does not. This actually. So here's your earnings, right? And so it is a big move after earnings. When you look at this kind of stuff, what you do is essentially you want to take that day's high and then that day's low. You get one shot, really, like one attempt to break through that high. And it was really today. And so today, I mean, your attempt. So the answer is no. And now ELF is not going to go down, but I will tell you, this is Iron Condor Central for about 45 days. I would give it a solid 45 days. Sell calls, sell puts. This is going to be like a 45-day congestion sideways location. I wouldn't even, it's just down to 107. But even then, I just have no interest in going downside or upside here because like it's going to be literally like that.
Okay. Mercado Libre, MELI.
Millie. I mean, this is an international stock you just own. What happened? What'd you do?
I don't know. Is it down today? Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And you always just buy this stock.
They need to do a split, bro.
Why?
Because I'm not paying $2,500 for this thing.
Imagine paying pesos.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Dude, don't worry about Melly.
You like it?
You have investors asking about Melly. Just own this, dude.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is just an own. Okay, let's do another one that's been moving more.
Yeah, this is actually, it's fine. You're just retesting this.
D-Wave, QBTS. Quantum.
Do you own Quantum?
I do not, but a lot of people do.
Really?
Yeah, dude, there's a big retail following. It's made a lot of people rich.
Rich?
Like rich, dude. People bought this thing at $3-4. That's 17, you know? Is it going to work out long term? I have no idea, but it's worked so far. Yeah, that would be 50,000 pesos.
Would it be?
Yeah, for Mercado Libre.
It's in consolidation, dude. So this is consolidation.
I think it's been holding these levels pretty nicely, even in the midst of, maybe not the best earnings or whatever. So, but IONQ, Rigetti, all these guys, they've been holding up.
I feel like this could go one of two ways. Either this kind of consolidates and it makes you feel like it's super constructive and you get a little something like this, which ends up being this. Actually, this is what that looks like to me, to be completely honest. I don't.
You don't like it?
No. But, I don't have to like it. Yeah. Why is this doing this on me? If it does go, it's like 20. The consolidation is tight. So, like, it's just not like, even if this is a consolidation for an upside move, like, it's like 25. For the next move here. I'm not sure I understand why we would be charting D-Wave, quite frankly. Because like my thing is like, dude, if you were in D-Wave from 3, like what's the revenue here?
I have no idea.
It's in the millions, right?
Millions, yeah.
So like if you're in D wave from like 3, I mean, wouldn't you be more this is like target acquired. Wouldn't you be waiting for like trillions or something? Like you're gonna hodl this till it's
Yeah, so you don't care. You're so long, it doesn't matter.
yeah, like what are we doing?
That's fair. It's fair.
So like, yeah, even if this is like a giant flag, like we call like bull flag, sure. Right. Even if this is that, like this, you're already in here. Like maybe you get to 30s, maybe.
Right. Okay, can we do lemonade? This one's getting some more attention now.
This thing is getting squeezy.
Yeah.
Lemon squeezy. This thing, I mean, I don't know what to say about this chart. This chart looks good. I'm not in this chart because it scares the living bejesus out of me, but I cannot deny how good this chart looks sometimes.
Why does it scare you?
Oh, I've been in it over the years. Like, look how old this chart is. I've been around, dude. I've been around in here. And in here. And mostly because of like it's insurance that is like, I forgot. It's very new company. And I'm not so sure I'm sold on the longevity of it. But it's a short float story for sure. Even down here, I guess it's only 3 billion. It's definitely, you got to check short float.
Let me check right now. I think it's like 20%, if I'm not wrong. Lemonade is 28%. Lemon squeezy.
Lemon squeezy. So that's how you get this. So, so there are a lot of charts that look just like this. Let's just call this what it is. And, you know, this community has been the beneficiary of a Palantir and a Robinhood when people like Amit have found amazing stocks. And we may or may not have talked about all-time cuppy handles, right?
Yeah.
And you can easily look at something like this and draw your comparisons. What I will say is that the biggest difference here is that the consolidation of this back end from a technical perspective is just well below the prior area. So in this instance, that's not really time for that kind of comparison just yet. To be fair, it would just be, it's a little early. So this level, and I don't know about, I think you have to do a little more DD on the company. I don't think it's a bad company. There was a lot of like hype around the company when it first came out, right? Like, well, look at clearly there was a lot of hype around this company when it first came out.
Yeah.
But this was in the 2000s. So this was I think this is like my era.
2021. No, 2021.
Of like initial, this is COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of those. So I don't know. It's interesting. I think you either believe in it or you don't. I think this is one where like, honestly, it's probably worth some due diligence here. It probably is worth some due diligence.
It's insurance AI for those that don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the chart, look, the setup is here. It's right into this $44 level, which was the low earlier. The low of the first trading price was 49. So if it really does reclaim over 49, it's like, okay, you're back in play. Like something's going on. Down here, you're at a 3 billion market cap. you can easily look at this and be like, dude, this is a $10 stock. I mean, so what? It was a $10 stock. That was a $300 million market cap also. Maybe. I think it could be worth a discussion. We're in the age of AI. I just don't know where this technology holds a place with us.
Okay, we got time for like 4 more. Can we do Lululemon? This one's like a nasty dip.
Oh, I mean, it's mostly because you returned your pants,
They
dude.
didn't even accept it, bro. I had to keep it.
Really?
Yeah. So now I've got $115.
You know what you need to do next time is you need to go to their used department because you can buy the used. Why didn't they accept it? They sell used Lulus. I always worried about that. Like, what if you buy a used pair of Lulus and there's like skid marks or something on that? Like, shouldn't they could get like sued or something?
That's probably why they didn't, want to accept. I mean, she saw I wore it, so she was just like, yeah, you can't return it. I was like, that's fair. That's probably fair.
I don't really like this chart, dude. This chart is, mostly it's because you returned your pants.
Do you like them as a concept that like they get all their clothes from Bangladesh and stuff?
So quite frankly, it's not that I don't like the chart. It's actually that the chart doesn't look good, but I don't really like the business that they were great. But I'm not so sold on them being the top dog moving forward.
I just think when they pulled profit guidance because of tariffs, that was either that's a head fake and that's a buy the dip because it'll eventually come back, or
I'm just not so sold on them being top. I'd rather Abercrombie.
They had great earnings.
Yeah, they had great earnings. They lowered guidance and the stock went up. I'd much rather A&F.
Okay, that's fine. Disney, thoughts on that one? They finished their Hulu acquisition today.
Disney's a massive.
Does your kid watch Disney Plus? Do you have it?
Yes.
Bluey, that's what he watches?
Yeah, I watch Bluey. So Disney is it's not your fault, but you might be too young for this. But this is Bob's like moment. So this is a huge deal for Disney, the company. I think that there are still a lot of doubters. I think that what you should know is that when Disney was at $190-200 a share, this is when Bob Iger was here trying to acquire Hulu. This is that era. And he got very frustrated. It didn't really happen. And eventually he retired.
Yeah.
What happened today is what he literally came out of retirement for today.
Yeah.
Bob Iger came out of retirement to do what he accomplished today. And it is such a huge, epic freaking deal. I guarantee you the guy is not going to go to his grave without this stock being up here. And this is why, like, if you always laugh, why Disney, right? This is why. Not joking.
Hold on. He has 1 year left. You're saying he's going to 190?
Dude, I don't care. He is not going. You think he has 1 year left? This guy, I have the overs that he stays longer.
I mean, dude, no, he could, but I don't.
No. I'm taking the overs on that bet.
He wants to retire. This is not a Disney wouldn't want him to stay.
He has his hands on Hulu. He came out of retirement for this. I'm taking the overs. You know,
I'm taking the under. The guy is getting old.
I'm taking the overs. I like that there are a lot of people like not on it. I'm taking the overs.
So you're long Disney? You bought Disney?
I've been long Disney. I bought Disney here. I bought January 125 calls here.
Okay.
For $100. They were at $900 today. I started to buy January 2027 calls. Higher.
I mean, but look, you're saying it's going to 200. Why are you picking these in the money strikes? I mean, like,
I bought January 2026, 125 calls here at $100. They traded for $900 today. I didn't sell a single one today. I added January 2027 calls higher. I don't know what to say.
Look, I like your conviction.
I'm just telling you.
I don't think
this is his moment. This is pièce de résistance, right? Like, but you know,
I don't know if he takes it back to 200, bro. That was a different.
I didn't say about 200 calls, but I think that what's true is that he's gonna try, and regardless of whether or not he does it or doesn't, it doesn't matter. Stick with the charts, right? The charts are close, but they're not quite, right? The box is, I'm just telling you, it's a moment for Disney that is big. This is I don't know how long this is. Near 3. This is about a 3-year consolidation. We're not out of the box right here. So the box is technically, let's do this. This is not happening tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, it's definitely not happening tomorrow. I don't know, dude. What is the growth?
I don't care if you know. You want the chart or not? I was like, I love you, bud.
On a fundamental, what is the growth narrative that takes Disney back higher? Like, it's not parks. It's not Disney Plus.
It is Disney Plus.
Why? Because of Hulu? That's your bull case?
Yeah. Believe it or not. You didn't believe in Netflix either.
You're right, man. I was wrong, but I don't know if I'm going to be right or wrong on Disney.
You don't? Okay. I'm just telling you, this multiple comes from what we just got.
No, this multiple comes from 2021 hype. It came from the bubble SPAC era. That's what it comes from.
No, dude, you weren't there. I was here. The whole thing, I was there.
Jason, that was 2021 literal.
I know. The whole run up was, you're talking about the calendar. I was active. Like, this whole thing was Netflix was a thing that was like gonna be who wins. We know it's Netflix, right? But Bobby's back. He's coming to the table. His vision's coming. You don't have to believe it.
To be fair, Netflix was 700 when Disney was 200. Netflix fell to 150. Disney fell to 80. Disney's at 120. Netflix is at freaking 1200. I mean, I'm not saying Netflix is better than Disney. We all know that. I'm just saying I don't know if Disney has the growth to get back to the 2021 highs. That's my argument.
I mean, Disney is priced at 2015 levels right now.
Does it deserve to be priced higher? Like,
yeah.
Why?
Dude, I'm just telling you.
The Bluey? Like,
yes, dude. Yes. Bluey. You go to Costco, dude. How many freaking Bluey toys do you see? But a lot more than that. Way more than that.
I was actually at Costco over the weekend. I didn't see any Bluey.
It's because you didn't look at the toys. But anyways, or the clothes. But anyways, you want to stick with the charts, or you want to go this thesis, right? If it happens, right, it can get to 125. It's still not like official yet. Right now it's at resistance, right? But it is a huge moment. You got parks, you got blah blah blah. You can have the doubters all day long. I don't care, right? This is the consolidation that we're coming out of right here. It is a big, huge breakout from this area. So any kind of pullback into this zone, to me, that holds is viable, and then you could still have this kind of trajectory, right? That's fine. If you can get over this 125, then you're into 140. So what my point is here, that if you have some kind of pullbacks into 114, 115s, those should be viable at this point. If you're below 112, this is off, right? If you're below 112, I am wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong. But if I'm above, I'm not wrong yet. And if I'm over 126, I am right. and we are going to 140. And if we can go to 140, then we should very well easily get to 158. At any point in time, if you're over this, then there is this level here. This is again long haul 170. So if you consider that worth your time, that is what it is. If you can capture that, 50%.
Well, look, if the S&P at 6,500, I think you're gonna be right. I mean, if we get into like,
so it's a big deal.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's fair.
It's a big deal. I don't even know that I'm going to get 50% out of Hood in this amount of time. I definitely don't know that I'm going to get 50% out of NVIDIA in this amount of time. But
fair point. It's a fair point.
And it's a shat-on stock that happens to be trading at 2015 levels.
All right, last final three days, and then we'll
all right, love it.
Then we'll do Bitcoin, then we'll be done. Texas Roadhouse.
TRX. This is always a good looking chart. I don't know.
This reminds me of Costco in terms of chart.
I know, dude. Well, that's because you haven't seen Cracker Barrel.
Right? I've been to one though. I've been to a couple of them.
Cracker Barrels?
Yeah.
Or Texas Roadhouses?
No, both. I have a Texas Roadhouse like 20 minutes from me, but Cracker Barrel.
Dude, so like a lot of these kind of companies, I say these kind of companies, it was like we're looking at Pepsi stuff. Lilly. Have you seen Lilly today?
Yeah.
So Lilly had a huge day today, which is fine. But a lot of these, fat America companies, like they got hit right now, just today. This is a perfect example of, I don't know. We're going to find out tomorrow. I don't know if this is justified. It could be a knee-jerk reaction, right? This is Lilly. Big old, like, green candle, right? I haven't seen Novo. Another big green candle. Sometimes you get these kind of scenarios where, like, yeah, I actually kind of think that these are justified moves, but because they're coming off the lows. But off a McDonald's double downgrade, which nobody even asked about this, guys. Come on, right? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Step your games up, right? On a McDonald's double downgrade, right into support. I just said I'm in a bull market. Do we buy at support, or what are we doing here, right? Are we buying at resistance? I don't know. Sorry, love you guys. This is you wait and see. So it's at a very interesting level. It's not a sell, right? It's a wait and see. What you want to see is like, does it wick down, kind of like grabby grab, right? When we looked at grabs set up tomorrow, it could wick out tomorrow. And if it comes down, but then the day after tomorrow, you have a sideways and it holds over this 187, you buy it. But you got to wait for that, because otherwise you don't want to be in the way of something like that. And then you'll know. But I think a lot of these in general got kind of, the McDonald's double downgrade, the Lilly shenanigans. We've seen that before. It's not a new story, right? So is it happening? The same thing happening again over old news? I don't know.
Okay, last couple, then Bitcoin. Archer. This one got the eVTOL executive order tailwind.
What was the executive order?
Basically, Trump just said they can do whatever they want. And Joby, Archer, all these guys pumped.
What did he say?
He said there was restrictions from the Biden era that didn't allow them to do stuff. He kind of repealed them, the executive order.
Oh, is he going to change his mind?
I mean,
Taco.
Dude, we had Chris come on the show the other day, and he said he bought a new stock but wouldn't tell anybody, and the whole chat just peer pressured him. And then he said what it was UNH, and we were like, Kako. It was hilarious. It was great.
Oh God. It looks nice, but it's not breaking out, right? It's like, look, my Disney, I gotta look, I've been a fan forever, but I know where it's very close, it's building, I'm getting excited, but I got a little ways.
All right.
Wait, hold on. I gotta so if it does, it's 1186 is your area, and then you could get to like 16.25, which happens to be right over here. But this is that it's 1180. This, let's call it this spot, but that's it's been in the past over here. It's where it broke down over here. It's resistance here, 1180. Okay,
last one, Rivian.
China trade talk ended. Lutnick, and is that real?
Yeah, Lutnick just said we have a definitive agreement, and if Trump approves, we will implement it starting next week. So bullish.
Okay. Sorry, what was your question?
Rivian.
Rivian.
Where I haven't looked at it. Is it $12? Rivian 14? No. Okay.
14.
It's about that.
Did you know it was just 17?
I have not looked at
Stay
it.
the course, fam. I'm not here for a short time. I'm here for a long time. It's still consolidating. It is out of the downtrend. That's good, but they did just do a raise. Up here, I think we talked about this, me and your chat while you were gone. But I believe Volkswagen, say it. How do you say it?
Volkswagen
was forced to, since they hit their metrics, forced to purchase at a premium. I think the market kind of knew that. That's what we were getting here. We're coming down. We're retesting. We're actually looking. This is kind of what we want to see. Locking a higher low. Having made a higher high over 1665, we want to see a higher low show up. And we really like to see a higher low show up over the last high down here. This looks good. I don't want to see this get lost below 1360, which happens to be something like this. That would not be cool. That would signal like another decade of consolidation, which would be really lame. But also something I really don't care about for this one.
Right. All right, let's end it off with Bitcoin, Ethereum. I mean, do you
Which
still
one?
think 120 is in play this year?
Which one do you want to start with?
Bitcoin.
Biddy.
Dude, it's been doing great. I feel like 110, 112. Like,
yeah, I mean, you did get this. Hey, this is, look, it cracked this. I think that was the 20-day that it had lost. Yeah, it lost it. Hit the 50. Boom. Right there. That was good. I think now you need to see this consolidate over that all-time high. 109. This is a pretty constructive look. Wrong tool. It looks constructive. Listen, had you lost that 50, I was about to get like do one of those Bart Simpson kind of moments. Maybe I'll get my dip by after all, but it didn't. It held. But I mean, this 99 is fine. I need to go a little bit more out. Sorry, dude.
No worries. Is GitLab still down after GitLab? Still down 12% after ours. Yeah, that one got hit. S&P futures no reaction to this Trump Lutnick stuff just now.
Yeah, so I think you need more time, dude. You really need more time. Like, I am looking at this. I only see 1 day over that last high. And then now I have one close over, 1 day open, but not close over. Like, it's getting close. I think you need to give this a little bit more time. Seasonality is way the frick off on this bad boy. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me, which is why I'm a little thrown off on this. But seasonality across the board has been off this year. Have we been delayed or early? That's what I'm not sure if we've been delayed or early.
Well, did you even think it would be at 112 around this time? Or do you think like we never fell?
No. I always said from the beginning, I was like, this has to be a Q2 thing, or else I'm calling off alt season. And we're way in deep into Q3. We never hit Q2, so I was like, not happening, because that's how it should have worked. So we're like a quarter late. So it's throwing me off. It's not. It's like it's throwing me off. Like, the daily looks okay, the weekly looks constructive. But I don't, so I have this, my buddy calls this the outlet setup, like the US outlet plug. So you have like the two outlets, one's a little bit bigger than the other. Then you have that little sideways plug, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The outlet. So this is kind of a setup, but the trigger for the setup, because every setup needs a good trigger, is a new candle over 110.5, which we don't even kind of have. In fact, we're just chilling. So I think this needs more time. It needs like another month, at least another couple weeks. But then that's 115 because we got a little bit of a broadening formation here. And then now, since we have this pullback, this can give us a different consolidation. That is to 120s still.
GameStop did buy 4,000 more Bitcoin. They announced their earnings.
There you have it. There you go.
Okay, so then Ethereum, this feels like it's catching up with BTC. 2,800 it broke. Do you think that one's more attractive?
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just today.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is catch up, right? So 28 was the big deal. Big deal as in Clausendale, not Vlasic, right here. And from here to here, God, I keep doing so many fibs over here. That's the 50% retracement from swing high to swing low, which means that for this dill pickle, if we can get through this broad information, as long as you can hold, wait for it, 2760.84. Don't hate me. You should see 3173 next, which is going to line up to the lower end of this consolidation. So that is your next trajectory. Now, remember, this is that last weekly consolidation. So broader term, here's your big consolidation, whatever you call this on Ethereum. You need to be very careful when you get there, because when you get there, if I were to take this down just for a minute, this is a downtrend here. What you're going to be doing is that you're going to be retesting the bottom of that existing downtrend. Yes, I said existing downtrend. It's not out of the downtrend. And you should expect some kind of retracement. That said, it is very easy for this kind of a setup to whoosh right back through. So it is not over till it's over on ETH. The fat lady has not actually sung, although many thought it did. And it's very possible that she might still, but cheeks are clenched here. You got a little pucker going, little booty tickle. I don't know.
What is going on today?
Sorry.
This is one of those days. No, it's good.
It is.
Real quick, Jason, if you want to stay on, we got Lutnick and Greer live right now.
Yeah.
We can watch them. Okay. Give it.
Oh, let me text my quant too. I need to know what we're doing tonight.
Yes, text your quant. All right, here we go. Here is Lutnick and Greer, folks.
Tariffs, President Trump's tariffs come up. Does that affect your leverage at all?
No, that doesn't come up.
It did not come up at all.
Do national security issues complicate this? There were Chinese nationals that were arrested with agro-terrorism weapons or bio weapons in the U.S. Did that cause a problem?
I mean, that didn't come up at all. I mean, all of these things listen, we're talking about geopolitics and grand strategy. Some of these things are dealt with in compartments, right? And obviously we go back, and when we say we're going to brief the president, we're also going to brief all these other people, right? National security folks, et cetera. Right? Everyone wants to know about this, and everyone's balancing everything. We didn't talk about those things here, thankfully, but obviously there are people in our government who think very serious about those things.
What's the status of the other countries you're negotiating with?
We're just here to talk about China. So.
Thanks. All right, thank you all. Thanks for staying up so late waiting for us. I really appreciate it. Okay, we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we missed some of the main quotes, but essentially they were just saying that we have a framework from Geneva that we're ready to implement.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean for that to.
No, you're good. You're good. You're just having fun. No, you're good.
You guys don't know what a booty tickle is. It's just like one of those things you're like, I don't know what's going to happen yet. It's not a bad thing. It's just,
It looks like the China stuff is coming in. All right, so let's end it off on this. Do you think 6,500 is on the way? We got trade deals, inflation's down or coming down.
Oh, 65. Oh, I guess because we're at 6,000.
CPI tomorrow. Maybe that's not too bad for us. I mean, I feel like the market wants to go higher.
Like, do you want to do this?
Yeah, we'll do SP. We're gonna end up with SPX. Yeah.
So today we got there today. It's not as simple as you would necessarily think. I mean, we had a very tight NFP range. Where's my June? Why does it say this was June? Oh, this was June. So today, so this is our monthly trend box, essentially. So this is the box that we trend in. Tomorrow we can have a red open, and even if we get a red open, like as long as we hold 6 spot 80, you guys might assume that we hold that. It's not. I wouldn't assume it so easy so quickly. 650, dude. What do we have next?
650 would be, well, we have Q2 earnings next, but that's in July. That's the next catalyst.
Okay.
But I agree with you. July tends to be weak, so it would not surprise me if we
no. So
July we tend to do the blow off top.
Right. July tends to be my best 2 weeks of the year, almost every year, are the first 2 weeks of July. I mean, like 4th of July weekend. From a trading perspective, I sometimes I just don't let off the gas. like I just don't let off the gas. And yeah, I don't try to trade off the calendar, but like it's just kind of what happens sometimes. We just spent 30 days going sideways, right? Yep. 30 days. So we are ripe and ready for a run. It will give us that. We should give us that. And if this run is to happen, well, the first issue is that 607 is going to get us there, and then 620. Where's 650 coming from? That's what I'm not understanding. Where'd you come up with 650? Is that like?
I'm looking at earnings growth towards the end of Q4, and you get closer to 25 times. So I'm doing more fundamental, not really chart based, but I mean, you can get to 6,500 pretty quick if we keep the growth that we kept in Q1, and we beat the estimates that we beat in Q1. But you know that's a question because there was tariff volatility in Q2, which might mess up earnings.
So let me do. So between now and next, we're just gonna go week to week because I will see you again on Tuesday.
Yeah.
By the way, dude, where's my text? I thought you were coming over.
Dude, that freaking.
I'm joking.
No, it got so busy. I can't even.
I'm not even worried about it. I know. So an average weekly range is this box. If all hell breaks loose, if all hell breaks loose, an average weekly range actually could take us to 571, just normal week. Would you believe me if I told you that on between now and Friday, the average move of the S&P 500 could actually take us to about 630 on a normal week?
I would absolutely believe it. Absolutely.
627 and a half. That's crazy. And so if I were to double that, yeah, it's possible. Crazy. So I would have more like 641 at most by July. I can see her 50, but I really didn't have that in the cards. And this quarterly, I guess we got to do it. You want to do it?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
If this whole thing is the Palantir Robin Hood,
even though we're not singing together, let's duet.
Okay. Okay.
At that point of the show, baby. We're at that point of the show. 4 hours in, you know what I mean?
If this is the consolidation that we break and we double it, halfway is 678. There you have it.
That's
Yo. That's a big one.
That's a big one.
That is a big
That's
one.
a big one.
It's a big one.
That's a big
dude, so like there's two things here that just keep glaring at me. So I think that it's very possible. So in the back of my mind, so it's July. So everybody gets super bulled up, right? Like every year they get so bulled up, and we are just like, you cannot miss. Everybody is like, oh, trading's so easy because everything just keeps going higher and higher. And there's no way that you could possibly see that anything's going to go down almost yearly. Now, seasonally, we are way off the calendar this year. So I don't know what's going to happen. But these are just glaring at me. These are like completely massive imbalances in the market that are just like, I don't know what's going on. This kind of stuff, this doesn't happen normally. Like these are just from the trade wars. Like they're just total imbalances where zero trade has happened. They're massive gaps. So like, I'm kind of thinking that we do get your move like this, and then something happens where like we get the shell shock and then we continue on like that. That's actually kind of like what I feel. But like, until that happens, I cannot like short this scenario. Is that weird?
It is not weird, but you know what is pretty weird? Did you know this? This was a TV show. It was a country music TV show called Can You Do It in 2000.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, I used to watch this, dude. That's why I came up with that joke.
Of course you used to watch it.
Yeah, 2008. I was watching Can You Do It? Did anyone watch it in the chat? Put in the chat if you used to watch the show. This is legit, bro. This is legit. Dude, S&P 7000. Can we do it?
I mean,
could you imagine we just have a melt up of the most like Tesla's freaking 500, Palantir's 200? Like,
yeah, I can, right? I definitely can. Like, I really can, because you know what's funny is like,
we are the lucky few exposed to this level.
dude, you know Tesla hasn't gone anywhere for a very long time. Like
it's been dead for the past 5 years.
Yeah. Okay, so you didn't know. This is Tesla. You guys, like, this is 5-year consolidation, right? Like 5-year consolidation. And so like 2020, this is July. No, this is November. So Tesla's seasonal. So we're coming into both Apple and Tesla's strongest months of the year, right? So this is where is July?
By the way, your beloved Apple, she's got some issues, bro.
Why? I'm on Apple.
She's
Stock,
changing.
or
She's changing the home screen as her innovation.
Oh, do you know we got like 3 different flavors of titanium colors? That's huge. Listen, it works like this. The second that you write them off, that's how they get you, dude.
Which is why I would never short it.
That's how they get you.
I get it.
That's when you go along. It's just like that. Yeah, Apple, look at that. You think Apple is a short? This thing should be going down right now. But the fact that it's not.
Apple is never a short, but there is no way in hell the earnings for the next 3 quarters are even remotely.
No, you're right. Dude, it doesn't matter though, right? It doesn't matter. But can you make money on this thing going back up to 230? Look.
230, maybe.
220.
220 for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
250.
That's 10%. Most stocks, people will sit on most of these stocks, like teetering around. I mean, no offense, like maybe a D wave will teeter around and it might go up, might go down, but like this is almost like it's gonna happen. But and you don't have to, I can trade this with options.
Dude, you guys are funny in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. That's it, Jason. We got to get out of here.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you for being on. Jason's Twitter, I'm putting it right here in the chat. His Discord, his group, all that stuff is there. You can follow him. We are going to do Options 301 likely end of June. I've been traveling. Now I'm home for the next 3 months, so I will plan it with him.
You're home? Wow.
Literally for the next 3 months, I'm home. So there he is. He spends 3 hours, in this case 4 hours, every single Tuesday with us. So please make sure to give him a follow. And then he has his
Did you see the new sign? It's too bright.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It looks a little tilty, huh? Oh, the whole camera looks tilty. What's going on here?
Yeah,
the camera's probably off kilter here.
Yeah.
Oh well. All good. We'll
All
see.
right.
Bye guys. I appreciate you. It's been fun. It's been real. I gotta fix this voice thing. I stream too much, man.
No, dude, you're killing it. You're doing it.
It's
mastery into your streams because you're good at TA and they want your thoughts. So it's awesome.
No, it's fun. It's fun.
All right. Thank you.
I will request later to be like a papers picks.
Wait, someone did ask. Hold on. Do you have a pick of the week? Someone did ask. You're 3 for 3 on these.
Oh yeah.
What was your pick of the week?
This is your show. Like this is all for you guys. We mostly go. So Amit's we do. What's the format, Amit? Tell them. So Amit has the core. Has some core tickers that we want to do, and he'll like do the
NVIDIA,
like
Tesla, PLTR, yeah,
right. And then we do like your guys' picks. But I mean, yeah, if you want to make money, sure, I could tell you guys what to do, but but that's different. Most people aren't interested, huh? It's investing. There's investing and there's trading.
Okay, so what was your trading pick of the week?
Right now, Boeing.
Yeah. Boeing. Okay, cool. Keep an eye on Boeing. There you go.
To specifically, I think you can go to like 235, but she's a moving already. Boys and girls, we haven't seen Boeing, but I think the Boeing is the one that I have most short term on here. Is a beautiful retest today, actually. But you remember that broadening form? Well, anyways, Boeing's been a long time, but actually I levered up today.
Yeah, we've talked about it for like months. So.
For a long time, but so that's how I do. So I'll have long-term investments anyways. And there are certain points like Hoodie, maybe whoever, where I'll see an opportunity to lever up for a near-term move that could be kind of powerful. So, yeah.
Cool. All right, Jason, love you, brother. We'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks so much. Adios. All right, guys, I'm out. We'll have the daily recap out in about an hour. The ASTS stream is confirmed tomorrow, 9 p.m. Confirmed tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern with Chris, likely Sam, and then someone else I got on Twitter who is big in the ASTS community. So all 4 of us, really me moderating and them 3 kind of explaining the thesis. We will try to break down that stock as well tomorrow night. All right, cool. That's it. Again, Lutnick just said, hey, framework is achieved. Trump has to approve it. Rare earth minerals is going to be resolved, and that Trump getting on the phone with Xi Jinping really helped before the negotiations. It looks like this is good. Future's not really reacting to it. It was kind of priced in yesterday, but if we get more updates on those China negotiations, then that should be bullish for the broader markets as well. All right. Thank you, everybody. I will see you guys tomorrow on the Market Open. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.